No headphones?
I'd rather not have headphones.
You're getting crazy.
No, because I learned that. I learned that hearing my own voice in my head makes me focus on it, and I don't want to focus on the sound of my voice. I want to focus on the thoughts.
Right.
I'm focusing on, ooh, it's like blowing out in my head and all this shit's going on.
That's smart. Tell me one. What's up? Yeah. Oh. We're talking about whether or not you should have headphones on or not have headphones on. Are we up? No? If you're hearing the audio recording of this, what's happening is we switched to a new TriCaster. We were having problems with our old one. The TriCaster is the machine that allows Jamie to switch cameras and put everything up on the internet and hopefully include Skype so we could get some people from
It's getting signal, but there's no video showing.
Are we going to restart?
I don't know. I'm trying to make sure that that's actually true. Sorry.
It's okay. We might have to restart, folks. We're trying live while we're going live with some new shit. But I want people on YouTube. Is it?
Audio works.
Audio, but no video.
I don't know why. I'll figure that out in a second.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just staring at a blank screen, would you have to shut the show down to get the video back up?
Have to. It should work, but
all right, just do a double camera, a two-shot, so you could have.
It's gonna be okay now.
Is it live now? Tech motherfucking.
It would suck. It would suck if like we did like in half an hour and it turns out none of it got picked up, or we did a whole show.
Well, we're recording it, and it's going on
YouTube
YouTube right now for sure. It just they don't see us right now. He's trying to fix that. Tech motherfucking ology. We were having problems with our old TriCaster crashing a lot, so we got a new TriCaster. But it turns out that what is it that doesn't match up? What part is wrong? The control panel?
Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, I see video now. So it should be okay.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. What were we just talking about? We're talking about material.
Headphones.
Headphones. Oh, listening to yourself in the headphones. What I think of is, though, it makes me like I close out the outside world totally, and I just lock in on the conversation.
Yeah, it's all psychological.
So
but if he puts up a video, it'd be nice to hear it. Then you put your headphones on.
Then you have to put the headphones on. Yeah. I just feel like when that's on, it's just like I pay more attention to not talking over people too.
I can't stand the sound of my voice, so hearing it in my
voice, bro.
Thank you, but I can't stand the sound of it. And I hear it enough. I don't need it blasting in my ears as I talk. Then I focus on it, and then
I think that's a good.
Get depressed.
It's a good quality to hate your own voice,
dude.
Because if you loved your own voice, you would listen to it all the time. Like, ugh.
You know how hard it is to listen to my stand-up? That's very hard
for everybody.
It's death. It kills me. But I always hear your voice. You gotta listen to your shit. You gotta go back and edit. You gotta edit your shit. And I'm like, I don't want to listen to myself. I want to put every time I go up on stage behind me. I don't want to go back. But I know that's not the right thing to do.
You take a lot of time out of the development of a joke process if you just listen to the previous versions of it.
Yeah.
Because like I have this new bit that I'm doing right now, and I have like 3 different versions of it. And it's not right now. It's very shaky. It's very shaky. It goes one way, it goes the other way. Sometimes it gets big laughs. Sometimes it's just clunky. And I've got to figure out which one's the right formula. So the only way to do that really is to listen to how I did it right and then play it back and then write it out. I'll listen to how I said it and then I'll write it out. And then I'll think about like what I would be thinking if I was sitting there listening to this, if someone was saying this. You know, would I anticipate what they're saying, what the punchlines are going to be beforehand? Because if you do, that takes a lot out of it. You know, it's got to find a way to sneak it in. You got to find a way to make it where it really relates.
You ever have an old bit that you like an old one from like 10, 15 years ago that you think like, damn, I should have added that. You know, are you adding shit to it today?
Oh, yeah, man. If you kept going, that's like the argument. Like Ari had a good point about that. He was like, if you just keep adding to your bits and making them better, and that's why you don't want to release a special, you could have used that same creativity to come up with new bits. Instead of doing the same old bits for 10 years, you could have used that, you know, because there's some guys that think that. Like, if you got those old bits, they're samurai swords, man. They've just been hammered down and polished tight. And, there's certain bits, they have this rhythm to them. You're like, Jesus Christ. Like, I remember I did a special once, and I didn't have like hardly any new material. And so this is like 2009-ish or something like that. So I did some of my old shit from like 1999.
Tiger bit?
No. It was some other stuff. Well, I didn't do that bit. When I retired that bit, I retired that bit.
You got to bring that. You could always bring that back. You could always bring that back.
It's over. But I remember thinking, damn, these 10-year-old bits that I had for like literally 10 years before I did my first recording.
Yeah.
I started in '88 and I recorded in like '99, so almost 11 years before I actually recorded anything. They were so tight because I'd never done them on anything, so I could do them all the time.
Yeah,
I'd do them on the road. They were just
it's like jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
Yeah.
You learn how that path.
Yeah, your go-tos. You got
you're
like a fucking ninja. It's unconscious.
Yeah. I love your description of it. You were talking about tying your shoes. Like, you know how when you tie your shoes, you don't think this loop's going in here and this is going in here and then I'm going to bring it here. And then you just do like that.
You wouldn't even be able to. You couldn't even teach it to someone over the phone.
I couldn't explain.
Teach me over the phone and be like, I got to do it a few times first and figure out what the hell I'm doing because I don't even know what I'm doing.
I have no idea what I'm doing when I tie my shoes, and I do it every day.
Yeah, my son, when he learned to tie his shoes, like maybe 6 months ago, he never wanted to. He's like, he wants to do everything. He wants to decide where we eat every day, but he doesn't want to tie his own shoelaces. So we finally made him. And he was struggling with it, and I use that as an opportunity to show him how you can master anything that you're having trouble with. Go, look, right now you're having trouble with it. You could do it. He could do it. But he struggles. I said, one day you're going to do it like Daddy. Look how Daddy does it. I'm not even looking at my shoes. Look. And I do it and go, boom. And he's like, I go, look at that. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? I'll do it again. Look, my other shoe. And I do it and he's like, whoa, how did you do that, Daddy? That's like magic. And I go, you can do it too. Watch, one day you're going to do it and you're not even going to look. So like the next day he's trying not to look. He's like, Daddy, I'm not looking. Look. What he said. He's like, he struggled, but now he's got it.
Yeah.
So then now I could use that whole story that he won't forget and go, remember when you had trouble tying your shoes?
Yeah.
And remember how good you get? Look how you are now. This is the same thing.
Yeah.
Whether it's gymnastics or breakdancing or jiu-jitsu or karate, whatever we do, it's the same exact thing. Your body is magic. You just got to tell it 1,000 times. And then it finally listens and it'll do it itself.
I thought about that today. Not today, but like now. Like if I had to learn today how to do like a 360 roundhouse kick at 50 years old, I'd be like, what? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Hold on. I'd be like, what are you doing? But when I do it, it's just like whoosh. It's just something I've done my whole life.
Yeah.
It just whoosh. It's like a dance.
And your bits, like you were talking about, like bits that you've been, like your Noah's Ark bit was so goddamn tight because we were on the, back in the day, we were on the, if you went on the road, I hung out with you. I went on the road, and if you weren't on the road, we were at the Comedy Store every weekend. You weren't on the road, so I saw your act over and over and over to the point where I wasn't listening to the jokes no more. I was listening to the audience reaction. Right. That was what was entertaining. I got to sit through another hour of your shit. So for me, I started being entertained by the audience, like which jokes worked, and it's fascinating when there's women out there that go out there and they had to drag their husband out. He didn't want to go out. He wanted to stay. She goes, you never take me out. And she dragged him out. He spent a lot of money. They're buying money. They're buying drinks. She wants to make sure that they have a great time. So there's always like 10 of those wives that drag their husbands out and they just want to laugh. So they're laughing at stuff that isn't the punchline. And there were so many things that you would say that just the way you said them, it wasn't the joke at all, but there'd be like 4 chicks, 4 just laugh, and they're like ready to laugh,
Yeah. Well, people that love stand-up comedy, you definitely could like get into like certain rhythms, but then it's like everything else, right? Like you like one level of comedy, like one kind of comedy, but then you see a bunch of comedians, and then the original stuff that you liked, you think sucks.
Oh, yeah. I used to think Comic View was the funniest shit. I was obsessed with my whole life was all about music, but my two side things were fighting. I loved boxing ever since I was a kid. I was a huge, gigantic boxing fan. Then I got into the UFC. But, and then comedy. It was all I taped at home on my VCR was comedy specials and Tuesday night fights, any kind of boxing.
Dude,
anything. It was just
I'm
comedy
in the same
and fights.
boat.
Comedy and fights were my hobby, and music was the goal. That was my life. I taped anytime Comic View was on. I have tapes.
Which
and
one's
tape.
Comic View?
It was all black.
Is that BET?
Yes.
Is that the one that D.L. Hughley used to host? Yeah. Okay.
And live at the Apollo, the Def Comedy Jams.
Oh yeah,
I was the biggest fan of black comedy. The biggest fan. I mean, right away. And then you look back at like some of those stand-ups. After hanging out with you, though, I started going, oh shit, okay, that's low level. A lot of those guys are low level.
Well, it's just there's premises that just get, there's guys like out there like Bill Burr or Dave Chappelle or the real high level guys that are seeing things and then they're commenting on things and they're pointing things out that maybe other people didn't notice. And then there's other people that are doing bits because they know other people have done bits on that subject successfully. So it's not totally stealing, but they're not really being creative. They're just like trying to recreate some. There's a few guys that do that. Like you hear them and you go, man, you know that Bill Hicks did a bit about that. Like that this guy did a bit about that. Like I see what you're doing. Yeah. Like you're trying to like read. Like you don't have your own original point. A lot of those shows were like that. They were just trying to make it because it was the comedy boom, man. What you're talking about was like. There was a comedy TV boom that included Evening at the Improv, MTV Half Hour Comedy Hour, Spotlight Live on VH1, some Friday night thing they had on Fox that used to be at the Laugh Factory. They used to have a weekly show. Yeah. It was crazy. There was so much comedy, man. It was out of control. Yep. But there was a lot of guys that just didn't belong in the business yet. I mean, I couldn't say that they couldn't eventually have broke, but they were basically like, did you ever notice? Hey, like there's a lot of those fucking guys where they would like, hey, and there's goddamn Wild Kingdom playing out my living room. Like they had this like comedy rhythm that they would do, but they didn't have shit to say, like, but it still worked.
A lot of those guys were doing comedy to get a sitcom. They weren't they didn't really want to do comedy.
Exactly.
They thought it'd be easier if they did it that way.
Well, there was a lot of actors that I talked to about it. They're like, hey man, for me it's real hard to get auditions. And he goes, and for the longest time I'd sit around and watch you guys get development deals, and I'd be like, fuck that, these guys don't even act. And then I realized, like, why am I complaining? Why don't I just do what they do? How hard could it be?
Yeah.
It's hard. It looks easy. It looks so easy.
Hey, dude, Sam Tripoli did a special last week at the Viper Room in Hollywood. Man, and we've known Sam forever. I don't know. I've known him for 15 years or something like that, maybe longer. God damn, dude. God damn.
Did it
Sam
go?
Special. It was his first special. It took him, 10 years to get his shit together, but holy fuck, that hour slammed.
Beautiful.
He crushes.
He did it at the Viper Room,
He crushes.
Too. That's a great place to film a special.
Yeah, man. It was. I stayed for both shows. He did, when you film, you do two, just in case something goes wrong. Yeah. And he would do some stuff too. It was weird. I've never seen a comic before. You fuck up a bit and go, wait a minute, let's do that one again, and then start again. He did that like 3 times. He just wanted to make sure it was perfect. You know what I mean? Right, yeah. Because the response was so great that he was just on stage. He couldn't even believe it. He couldn't. Everybody was dying. Ian Edwards was there.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was. It's really good to see him blossom. I think that based on the Netflix specials that I see, on average 3 minutes at a time.
There's a lot of bad ones, huh?
Dude, they're just putting out comedy specials left and right by random dudes you never heard of, and a lot of super vanilla Netflix comedy specials. Vanilla, like they're not going deep.
There's a little bit of that going on, and there's also, I think people need to film more shows. I think they're just filming one show sometimes 2. I really think if you can afford it, you should do 4.
Ricky Gervais, his new one. I was never a giant fan of his, never really paid attention to him. Like, Ricky Gervais, didn't he do like cartoons or something like that? his new special on Netflix, that one is a grand slam. He's fucking good. Yes.
Really?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Did you see Chappelle's?
Oh, yeah.
Those are great.
Yeah. How about the one in the belly room?
Crazy.
How about, I mean.
I was there for that one.
Do you remember how he ended that shit? Basically telling people exactly why he went to Africa.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. That took balls.
Yeah.
That's dangerous shit.
Well, he's rich as fuck.
I mean, Katt Williams' latest special is pretty good too.
I didn't like that one as much, man. I didn't like it as much as I liked his other ones.
He spent like the first 20 minutes on Jacksonville because that's where he filmed it, and I thought, okay, I see what he's doing. But I thought he had some pretty good stuff, considering that all the crazy stuff he went through. I thought maybe he'll never be back, and he's just going to be like insane or whatever.
Right.
But he did come back, and he is.
I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah,
Don't
Katt
get me wrong.
Williams'
I
old
enjoyed
stuff.
it, but his old stuff is some of the best.
Oh
ever.
my god,
The Pimp Chronicles.
Oh my god,
I mean, come on.
Yes, Katt Williams. Katt Williams was is one of the guys that if I don't have shit to listen to in my car, I just put YouTube and just Katt Williams, just some random bit. If I don't have anything to go, he's a go-to.
Yeah, he's a go-to for sure. It's a good time, man. It's a good time for
comedy.
comedy,
Now the
man.
Comedy Store is unfucking believable. It's nothing like, we used to hang out there every day in the early 2000s, 2000, 2001, before 10th Planet was even a thought.
Yeah.
My life consisted of DJing at strip clubs for money, at home trying to make it, in music, and hanging out with you doing comedy.
Dude.
It's crazy. That was
crazy when you think about that place was always half empty.
Yes, it was like a dying dinosaur. It was ready to go. That shit was ready to go. And then when you had that Mencia shit and you left, man, the place was like, how is it surviving? Like right there on Sunset, it's a prime spot. You could put a giant hotel there. How is that place not going to get knocked down? And then when you came back, I remember asking you a couple times in that 7-year absence or whatever it was, going, dude, you ever gonna go back to the Comedy Store? Because I wanted you to go back, and you were like, fuck that, I ain't going back. You were like, really, like, you felt like you got really screwed by them, and you did. Those motherfuckers turned their back on you at the Comedy Store and took that dude's side, and now looking back, they know they made a big mistake. So you were like, you standing your goddamn ground, like, fuck that, I'll go to the Ice House, I'll go to Improv, fuck the Comedy Store. And then you came back, man, and it's like a different world, literally a different world. Like, it's fucking booming. It's selling out every goddamn night. Both rooms are packed. Yeah. It's unbelievable. It's
crazy.
Like you couldn't, nobody would believe that shit. It's so alive at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
People just go there like during the week, like it's a big event.
Tuesday nights, sometimes they have 2 sold-out shows.
Yeah,
Main room and the original
the
room.
Comedy Chaos Tuesday nights. Yeah.
It's crazy.
The fuck?
Yeah, it's never been like that before.
They opened up all those old decrepit rooms, like, and made a bar. Like, they're opening up and everything's, there's all these.
Back bar that used to be a video room. That back bar is the best. You can get away from people and chill out back there.
Yeah. That shit wasn't around back in the 2000s.
Around.
That was
they
probably
have that whole smoking corridor in the back now too.
Yeah.
Everybody goes out back to
and
smoke.
outside, the outside bar, it's booming. There's always people there drinking. It's crazy.
It's weird, right? The front bar is always mobbed.
Yeah,
it's nuts, man.
And then across the street, House of Blues, they knocked that shit down. Like, what?
Dude, when you walk outside and you go up that ramp, you know where that ramp is in the parking lot next door? That view is insane.
Yeah.
The view is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, they have the best view in the world.
Comedy Store's like, it's like Guns N' Roses, man. Big in the fucking 80s. Disappeared for 25 years, and now Guns N' Roses not only made a comeback, but they're bigger than ever.
Yeah.
They're bigger than ever. Guns N' Roses is unbelievable. Everywhere they play, they're just selling out, and I saw them in Mexico City and got completely blown away.
You saw them in Mexico City? Were you there for seminar?
I was there for
Combat Jiu-Jitsu?
Tony's fight.
Oh,
yeah.
Kidding.
That brings us to Tony.
That's crazy. You saw. Yeah, that brings us to Tony.
Yeah. Oh, it was incredible. And I was never a giant Guns N' Roses fan. I respected them. I liked their songs and shit. But, as a kid, once one of your friends claims them as their favorite, now they can't be your favorite. So it's like some stupid shit. It's some stupid shit. Like my friend Matt, he claimed Guns N' Roses. I'm like, okay. Because we wouldn't, if he bought a Guns N' Roses record, I would just tape it. I wouldn't buy it too.
Right.
So whoever actually owned the master, you know what I mean? That was their band. You know what I mean? Fuck you. That's my band. It's like a sport. It really is.
Yeah,
You have a bunch of of teams
Right.
at yours. My band was Kiss, because even when everyone made fun of them, I'm the only one who admitted they still liked them for a while.
Did you get like that with boxers too?
No, with boxing it was different. It was boxing is all racist. It's completely racist, and it's okay. Boxing's the only
racist?
sport. It's the only sport
My
you could be
guy
racist.
was a black guy.
well, not every.
my
Generally,
biggest bummer was Donald Curry getting knocked out by Mike McCallum.
if Mike Tyson fought Jerry Cooney.
Oh yeah.
Every white guy was
No, it wasn't Mike
praying
Tyson.
for,
It was Larry Holmes.
or whatever.
Yeah,
or
Larry
whatever.
Holmes.
Yeah.
I was.
That's
I was.
right. What white guy didn't? Mike Tyson
Mike
never
Tyson
fought
a bunch of white guys.
but not anybody famous.
No, not really.
Anybody?
Well, Galata, the Polish guy, Andrew Galata.
That's right. That's right. But does he count as white?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's from Poland.
A lot of them.
He's pretty white.
Sometimes European whites.
Yeah,
you know,
we don't think of them as American
they're different.
whites.
They're animals.
We
They
want
grew up
American
like,
whites.
Yeah. We definitely. Yeah.
We want like.
Well, Russians are always going to go for the Russian guy.
Yeah.
So boxing is the only one. Like, I didn't give a fuck who the Mexican was fighting. I'm going for the Mexican, even if I didn't know the Mexican. I already had love for him.
Yeah.
If he wasn't Mexican and he was Panamanian, that's good enough.
Right.
If he was Argentinian, Juan Roldan, remember him?
Right.
Yeah,
I remember him.
Argentina.
Yeah.
I was like, that guy's, if he's fighting a Mexican, I'm going for the Mexican. But if he's fighting a white guy or a black guy, I'm always going for the Latin guy. That was the only sport where you could be totally racist. My best friend was black growing up, and we both watched boxing together. And he always went for the black guy. I always went for the Latin guy. And it was okay. There was nothing wrong with that.
Who was another Argentinian champion that was champion before Marvin Hagler? God damn it, it's at the tip of my tongue. I cannot remember his name.
I was into Pepino Cuevas, Alexis Arguello. As long as they were Latin, they were Mexican to me.
He was right before Marvin Hagler. God damn it. I see him. I see his curly hair. He's a handsome-looking fellow. Carlos Monzon. Whew. Thank God I got it. I was ready. I was scared Jamie's going to pull it up. Jamie's going to pull it up before I can remember. Monzon was a bad motherfucker. Wasn't he from Argentina? He was. Beautiful. Yeah. He was a tough guy, man. There was those were the blood and guts days of boxing. Roberto Duran, Ken Buchanan at lightweight. 135-pound killers. It was a different world back then, man. Those guys were tough as shit. 15-round fights.
Comedy's different, though. I was always there. There was a point where I thought generally overall, just black people are way funnier than white people based on stand-up comedy. I'm like, it's just like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy,
Yeah.
I really believe that. And like Mexican comedians, I wasn't like rooting for Paul Rodriguez. I was like, fuck you. I didn't
Some people
root.
do.
Yeah, I know some people do, but I didn't. I was racist against white
That fucked
comedians.
Mencia more than anything. When people found out he wasn't really Mexican. They were like, what?
He's Honduran, right?
Honduran and German or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Did he ever
This
claim
is-
Mexican on
yes.
stage?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wow.
Many times.
Yeah. He was like
I don't think he does it anymore.
He was like an Andrew Dice Clay.
I think he was
It
kind of
like-
raised by Mexican people, though.
He should
So
have. He should have said that. He said, "Listen, this is all.
Right.
It's just like it's my character.
You can't change your name,
I'm Carlos.
man.
I'm Carlos Mencia.
You can only change your
Andrew
name.
Dice Clay.
Yeah, but that's first of all, that's like a character name. But I'm saying, like,
That's
you
what I'm
change
saying.
your ethnicity.
Maybe
like
Carlos
if I
Mencia-
decided to put tape on my eyes and
trying to
change
save
my
his
name
career.
to Joe Chan, people would be like, "What?" Right? You can't do that.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
if I try to claim German, right? Just
Yeah.
out of nowhere, like you don't know any better. You never see my 23 and
Or maybe you did like a Borat character where can you do a German accent, not Arnold Schwarzenegger?
that's Austrian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I don't think I could probably do one if I
You'd have to
listened to
hear
some
it.
German. But Arnold's so easy.
Yeah.
It's so like I can only do I can't do Trump, man.
You can't do Trump?
No, I can't do
At
it.
all.
My voice doesn't make those sounds. Like I'm not a good impressionist. I'm just good at the ones that I can do.
What does Arnold think of Trump?
Basically, we've had this conversation before. He's not a bad guy. He's just a guy.
Oh, that's right. We already
This
did
is
this.
he's listen, he's doing what everybody wants. He's making billions, he's fucking porn stars. And you're mad at him? This is the fucking American dream.
I mean, who looks like, for real though, who looks like him and fucks like he does? I'm a little bit more impressed with Donald after all these scandals. It backfired.
Yeah.
You guys are trying to go Clinton
he's not,
on him.
he's not
You can't
trying
go
to,
Clinton on this guy.
He's not trying to fuck kids, so that's, hey, you know.
Well, here's the thing about it, like Roseanne Barr. They were saying that Roseanne Barr was talking about some conspiracy theories that have been disproven. This was something because she was talking about Trump breaking up child sex rings. But he really did spend a lot of time concentrating on that and having people go out and try to break up these sex rings and sex trafficking. Like, this is not something that is a conspiracy theory. This is something that he's discussed many times. It's also not a conspiracy that there's sex trafficking. So as much as you want to discount Trump, here's a problem that I have with people that are on the left right now. They're not looking at everything. They're only looking at what they want to look at. He's bad for the environment. He's always lying. He cheats on his wife. He does this. He does that. They say all these things that he does bad. But when something comes up like Roseanne says, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because he's going after sex trafficking. And then it turns out all these other people say, that's a conspiracy theory. That's some bullshit online. No, he's said it. He's put effort into it. Like, you got to give the guy credit. Because if you don't give him credit for things that he does that are important, nobody's going to listen to you when you're criticizing him either. Because all you're trying to do is win. You're not trying to look at the thing for what it really is. Yeah, this guy he's not a perfect person, but he did make note on many times about wanting to break up sex trafficking rings.
Do you know that your kid is 20,000 times more likely to get kidnapped than to get shot at a school?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And 20,000 is conservative.
Yeah.
It's probably really like 70,000 because if you go by the numbers, 800,000 to 1 million kids go missing every year in the United States. And
I looked that up though. I never found a source for that. You said that before, and I looked that up and I couldn't find that. It wasn't nearly.
You know
as
what?
much.
I read it online, so it could be wrong. It could be
the problem
wrong.
with these things, like when we say them, especially we say them, like right now, 2 million people are going to listen to this or whatever the fuck it is.
Even if it's 100,000
even if it's
kids.
100. Even if it's 100
yeah,
kids.
100 kids, that's more than school shootings.
One of your
That's my
fucking
point.
kids.
It's more
Yeah.
than school shootings.
Right.
Like, what would you rather have? What's worse? I don't know what's worse. Having your kid get shot at school?
Is Eddie right? Look at this. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, citing U.S. Department of Justice report, nearly 800,000 children are reported missing each year. That's more than 2,000 a day. The NCMEC says 203,000 children are kidnapped each year by family members. Oh, family members.
Well, okay, now take away
different.
that leaves 600,000.
Yeah.
That leaves 600,000. So what's worse?
Crazy.
Having your kid, because the conspiracy theory is that there's this giant international child sex trafficking network going on that is being covered up. That's what's going on. And if you look at Jimmy Savile in the UK, that brought a lot of light to what's
Savile,
going on.
Right? Is that how you say his name?
Savile. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jimmy
that
Savile.
That was a terrifying story.
Yeah, so with the story with him is Jimmy Savile, he's dead now. He died in his 80s in 2011. He was a super famous, like Dick Clark kind of guy. He was he was the host of Top of the Pops. It's like if your band got on that show, you're gonna be mega. He was huge. He was friends with the royal family, with the prime ministers, Margaret Thatcher, Tony Blair.
Pull up a picture of him, Jamie.
He looks disgusting. Pull up Jimmy Savile. He
looks like a child molester.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. That guy was a super.
Getting fucked by that guy.
Check this out. But he was
when you're 12.
Super famous. And you know what he would do? He would raise money for hospitals and specifically psychiatric hospitals. And he would bring the Queen of England and he had all this power to raise millions for these hospitals, these mental institutions. That's what he preyed on. For kids. So what he would do is he would do so much for these hospitals that he would put himself on the board and give himself a job there in a position, and he would hang out at these hospitals. There's at least 500 people that have come forward to say were raped by him when they were at
500 people now?
At least. It's in the thousands.
What's that sign say that he's holding up on his neck? What does that say? BBC Fix It For Me? Oh, that was his show.
Yeah,
Jimmy Fix It For Me.
He worked,
right.
he worked for the BBC. Super famous, he had Christmas dinner with Margaret Thatcher multiple times.
What is that red hat he's got that looks like a MAGA hat right above that? Yeah. Just a hat.
Crazy guy who, it turns out, he was a child rapist.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with Sandusky.
And they're covering it up.
Sandusky
They're
guy.
covering it up. The question is...
Still they're covering this up?
Oh, dude.
This?
Yes.
Because people knew they're complicit and they'd be in trouble.
The mystery is, how is he so tight with the prime ministers, the royal family, all these politicians? All this shit comes out when he died. Because every time there would be an allegation while he was alive, he would just sit them down and go, what are you going to do? I'm going to ruin your life. You better drop this shit. What are you going to do? You think they're going to come after me? You know how many millions I've given this hospital? So he would just shut everything down.
Right.
And there was all these underground covered up allegations.
He admitted getting knighthood was a relief because it got me off the hook. What does that mean? Got me off the hook?
He was knighted.
Right.
So it got him off the hook.
How
What do you
crazy
think?
is that? He got knighted. When you get knighted, can they not arrest you anymore? Is that what happens? Is it like being the president?
Yeah. There's a documentary on YouTube called The Ninth Circle. Jimmy Savile, The Ninth Circle. You find out why they covered it up. Why did they cover it up? Why didn't this agent DJ, it's like Dick Clark, they should have just mashed him up. Why was it all being covered up? It's fucking insane when you find out why.
He had enthusiasm for dead bodies in general. That
Dude,
can
he
be
fucks
unnerving.
dead people.
What?
He loved fucking dead people.
Where'd you hear this?
It's the
in the
Ninth Circle.
documentary?
The Ninth Circle
Jesus
on
Christ.
YouTube. Watch that.
Jesus Christ.
It's insane. It's insane when you find out, when you watch that shit, dude.
It is crazy that you're saying this, and it sounds like it could never be possible. It sounds like it never could be possible that some giant television star that worked with children and was always helping out children could have actually been fucking them the whole time. And a bunch of them, hundreds of them.
Raping them.
And then people must have known. There's no way everybody
he was killing them too. He was killing them too.
He was killing them?
Dude, they found all these bodies. It's a big scandal in the UK
Pull up
right
that.
now. Look up, dude.
Jesus Christ.
There's an island called Jersey Island that's owned by the Queen, and look into that shit. I don't even want to get that. I don't even want to get that deep into it because I don't.
Savile raped children as young as 9 while working at BBC. Leaked report unveils, and this is in the Independent.
Yeah. How come we're not? How come there's not the same kind of effort for this kind of stuff like there is with the gun shooting, the Florida school shooting? Why isn't there the?
Because that's not a big event where it's one thing where all the deaths happen in one.
It's
group.
deaths or deaths, dude.
Well, I understand. I'm with you. I understand. But I mean, this is also why people don't freak out about 500,000 people dying every year because of obesity.
Like, what's worse? What's worse? Having your kid get shot at a school shooting, or having that motherfucker rape your daughter and multiple times and then kill her?
I don't think you
what's
want to
worse?
quantify them. They're both horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
They're both horrible.
It's
just what's scary is that is being protected.
Yes.
That there's someone that either knew about it and now is trying to cover their ass because they knew about it.
A lot of people.
That's the thing about Sandusky. You know, Sandusky did the same thing. He was raping all these kids, and the whole time he was running these programs for underprivileged children and helping all these orphaned kids.
You got to watch your kids,
them.
man. You got to
He
watch your
allegedly
kids.
got away with abusing 500 children and sex with dead bodies. Whoa.
Hanging out with the Queen, dude. This guy's tight with the Queen.
Look at him, too. God. And all these little kids around him.
You know what? You want me to tell you why he got, why they left him alone?
Do you know?
According to the Ninth Circle.
What is the Ninth Circle?
It's a documentary about the whole thing, the
Why
whole
they leave
cover
him
up.
alone? Because everybody's doing it? They're all doing it?
He was supplying everybody with kids. That's what he used the hospitals for.
Well, this is not a new theory. This is not a new theory when it comes to like groups of freaks.
He was the pimp, dude.
Yeah.
He was supplying everybody with kids.
This is something that people have talked about, like very intelligent people that I know that have talked about in terms of like, there's been stories about people that have taken politicians to like islands and shit because that's where they keep like young girls. You know, I don't know why I'm looking at you, Jamie.
Dude, and you know what?
But someone talked to me about this, and they were saying you have to understand that if you are in a group of incredibly wealthy people and you have a desire for extreme sexual scenarios, whips and you can't, whatever the fuck it is, you can't, young girls, you can't let anybody know about this. So people come into these people's lives that can facilitate these things, and then they develop this sort of bond of silence. And this is how, when this shit gets out of hand, you can get a Jimmy Savile or you can get a Jerry Sandusky. That was the other thing about Sandusky. There was like, this guy was not on his own. Like, he was supplying
Tip
children.
of the iceberg.
Wasn't that one of the things? That doesn't come up. Sandusky, Google Sandusky was supplying children to other pedophiles, because that was something that was also speculated about. Some of the donors that were donors to his charities were also somehow involved in molesting those kids.
You know what a death ride is?
Death ride?
Death ride.
No.
Jimmy Savile would supply 10, 15 boys to a certain politician. He'd have a boat. He'd take them out on the boat. He couldn't afford to have any witnesses, so those were always the last rides those kids would take. They're called death rides.
Jesus.
They couldn't have witnesses.
This is from that same documentary?
Ninth Circle.
See, but how do they know that for a fact?
You just got to watch it and make the
conclusion.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not ruling it
He's
out.
already a shitbag, so you got to look at him like a prosecuting attorney, not a defense lawyer.
Right.
He's already a shitbag. He's already confirmed.
He's already raping kids. What's to stop him from killing kids?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, because if you're the type of person that could rape a child, what can't you do?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Right.
You're, in the UK, the numbers could be wrong, but I heard that every 3 seconds a child is reported missing in the UK. That's 175,000 kids a year get reported missing in just the UK. It's a big business, man.
Just got to be more than that amount of seconds in a year, isn't there? Every 3 seconds at 175,000? That seems low.
Every 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
every 3, not every 3 seconds. I'm sorry.
I was like,
big
that's
difference.
crazy. How many seconds are in a day?
I'm sorry. Every 3 minutes. Every 3 minutes. This is according to something I saw.
It's 31 million seconds in a day?
31,500,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure the numbers are probably
Yeah,
high.
175,000 isn't as big as 800,000 a year, but damn, that should be. Think about all what we're doing for the Florida shooting and for these shootings, and with that David Hogg guy. Come on, man. That's what's scary, is that people are buying all that stuff.
Buying all what stuff?
The whole gun control propaganda, it's so obvious. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
What do you think the gun control propaganda is?
It's really simple, man. It's like they've been you have to disarm the population, and that's what they're doing, inch by inch, trying to disarm it. They used to say, oh no, we just want some restrictions and some background checks. Now they're just saying it.
Some people are saying to revoke the Second Amendment.
Yeah, they're tearing the Constitution. They're tearing the Constitution. Those four kids. Those 4 kids. There's a Constitution.
No, they weren't. They weren't. That's not true.
No,
no, that's Photoshopped. No,
it is. Okay.
Yeah, there's an original image that girl was tearing. It was like a target. She was saying we're not a target, and someone replaced that image with the Constitution.
Okay, but they're essentially doing the same thing.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Look, first of all, they're 17. They were at a school that got shot up. Their friends died. I get it from their point of view. If I was 17, I would think, and also they got cameras in their face, and everybody's paying attention to them, and the New York Times is interviewing them, the Washington Post, everyone's calling them up. If I was them, I'd probably be doing the same thing. You would probably too. If you were in high school with those kids and all that shit went down, I don't blame them by any stretch of the imagination. I don't even blame people that are trying to revoke the Second Amendment. The thing that infuriates me the most is that all people want to look at is the guns. That's all they want to look at. You need to look at the mental health of individuals that are willing to fucking shoot up a group of kids. Like, why? Why the fuck would someone do that? Psychiatric medications are a big one that if you bring up, people roll their eyes like, oh, this again. There are massive changes to the fucking chemical composition of your brain when you take these things. Yeah. What you're capable of doing, what bothers you, what freaks you out, what you don't give a shit about. When you got all these people that are on SSRIs and antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication and over and over and over again, when they test these shooters, They all test positive for something. The pharmaceutical companies do not want to fucking hear about this. They don't want to talk about this. Phil Hartman, my friend who got shot by his wife, she was on Zoloft. They got a settlement from Zoloft. The family got a settlement from Zoloft after she fucking shot him in the head while he was sleeping. Yeah. There's a lot going on. It's not just guns. Yeah. It is crazy that that fucked up kid could get guns. It is crazy. It's crazy that the FBI went to his house 2 years before, but what can you do? Did you hear about that kid that they just stopped in China, the Chinese immigrant kid they're sending back? His roommates in college were saying this fucking guy's stockpiling guns. The cops went to visit him. He went out and bought another gun. And he's talking all kinds of crazy shit, and everybody's nervous about him. Like, he's a fucking shooter ready to happen. Stop going to class, and that's how they sent him back, because he's on a student visa. You can't not be in class. This kid was like gearing up. He was gearing up, and maybe they caught it before it happened, and maybe they wouldn't have, like 2 years ago when they interviewed this the kid from Parkland.
Now,
that kid.
The strangest thing about that Parkland shooting is the interview one of the teachers did on ABC. This doesn't make any sense to me at all. It's like she said, I have the video. I could send it to you, Joe. It's less than a minute. She says, I opened up. I heard shots. Opened up the door. All the kids ran in. They hid behind their desk, and there I saw the shooter 20 feet away from me. But at first, I thought he was a policeman. I'm like, what is the police doing here? He had full body armor, a mask on, a helmet on, and was shooting. I was like, what are the cops doing here? That is the strangest video I've seen.
Was it possibly someone shooting at the kid?
That's not what she said. She said she saw the shooter. That's
right, but I mean, how long was she watching for? Right? If you're like looking out the window and you see someone that's shooting someone, or shooting a gun, or even holding a gun. First of all, you have to realize that people in those traumatic situations, their memory is very fucked up. It's very shaky. Your brain's flooded with adrenaline. You remember, you're open to suggestion. People can put things in your head, and you all of a sudden think that that was a real memory that you saw. There's been like scientific studies on that, and about suggestive memory, and about someone can literally, especially during periods of great duress, they can introduce ideas into your head, and you will tell those ideas hours later, days later, as your own. And you don't even realize that they put them in your head. It's real weird. Memory in traumatic situations like gun shootouts and shit like that is haywire, because you're working on that reptilian part of your brain. You're down to the lowest level. Like, my friend Steve Ranella got attacked by a grizzly bear. He was in a Fognak Island. It's a crazy podcast. Him and these other guys, they had killed an elk, and they were packing this elk out, and they left the elk by the tree while they were at their camp. Then they went to go back, and a bear had claimed the elk. And this bear rushed them, and he was like, one of the ways he described it to me is like, you have an idea in your head of like what like an animal instinct is like. And he goes, I'm telling you, this goes way deeper than that. This goes way, when you really think your life is in danger, you really think it's over, you don't even exist anymore. You're moving, you have no idea what you're doing. You have to piece together what happened afterwards, and you were barely there in the first place. You're just gone. You're gone. You see somebody outside, da, 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 da. You have no fucking idea who you even are right there and then. All these people that are like, I would have run in the building and kicked that fucking guy's ass. You barely even know who you are. You got this video?
I sent you the video. The video of that. Yeah.
People have to understand memory.
Well, listen to her, and then let's see if she sounds like she's
okay. Let's hear what she says.
Now, I actually sent you the actual clip.
Not the one.
This is not it?
Didn't I sent you one, right? On your phone.
This is not it, though.
That's the lady, but I don't know when she's gonna say. Unless
let's just play it because we don't hear it. We're not hearing it, Jamie. Oh, okay.
Writing love letters when the fire alarm went off. As students filed into the hallway, she heard gunfire.
Here we go. This is it.
The killing had begun.
I was about 2 feet away from my door. All of a sudden, I heard gunshots in the stairwell, which is about 20 feet away from my room. And then kids were screaming and then running back towards me and towards the end of the hallway. So I just went in this very strange autopilot mode where I pivoted on my feet. I unlocked my door, and then kids just started pouring in my room. I don't know how many kids were in there, but I was pulling them and getting them in and shouting at them to get in the room. And then I suddenly saw the shooter about 20 feet from me, standing at the end of the hallway, actively shooting down the hallway, just a barrage of bullets. And I'm staring at him thinking, why is the police here? This is strange, because he's in full metal garb, helmet, face mask, bulletproof armor, shooting this rifle that I've never seen before.
Huh.
I don't know.
That
dude.
sounds like someone who saw something.
Yeah.
That
And then
sounds
there's
like
a-
she got
there's-
a very good look at it.
And yeah, there's another video of a girl saying, yeah, we heard shots and we're running through the hallway. And then I run into Nicholas Cruz. And I looked at him and I told him, I'm like, isn't it weird that everyone thought this was going to be you? And then he just stood there and then we ran off because we heard more shots.
What?
It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. And that stuff,
So
those
you
videos
think
get taken down. Those videos get taken
but
down.
that video is not taken down.
They've been taking them down. When they find them, there's people actively taking down witness testimony that doesn't go with the official narrative, man.
So you think that this is like a false flag? Like someone went in there,
Abso-fucking-lutely.
shot up the school.
They do it all the time, dude. That's what they do. And then they focus on it. They had this Nicholas Cruz guy, and they go, "Oh, we got a perfect guy." So they come in. They have a professional team. They drag a Nicholas Cruz. They do what they got to do. They throw him in there, arrest them, and go, "We got him." And then everyone buys it. That's what's going on,
Right.
In,
but you know
my
that-
opinion.
but
In my opinion.
But this is a crazy opinion, right? Because you weren't there.
I'm not the
It's
only one
on the
saying
other
this.
side of the
Yeah.
country. I'm sure. But every
Yeah.
time there's any sort of a mass event, some horrible event, there's always conspiracies. You know?
Because they have a. What was going on right before this was the release of the FISA document and and
what's the FISA
The media was
document?
burying that. The FISA document was a document that Trump released and got zero play from mainstream media, and it was a document that showed that a lot of really important people in government from all the agencies were all colluding together to take down Trump. And there's text messages and emails. They're going back and forth.
So this
they all
is all
work
that
together
shit that was
with
working-
Hollywood, using Hollywood. So there's this. So FISA document was about to get dropped, and everyone was saying, "Wait, they're backed into a corner. They're going to pull something off." Watch, here it comes. They're going to pull out. There's going to be a shooting or something. Wait for it. Here it comes. And then boom. So as soon as it happened, the reason why conspiracy theorists were going, that's it. And look at all the mistakes. Look at all the testimony that doesn't make any sense that they're ignoring like that. The thing that gets me is there's so many fuck ups in that shooting as a false flag, or like all these witness testimony that doesn't make any sense. That to me, I think they did it on purpose to keep all the conspiracy theorists busy, because there's so much shit that's clear to keep everyone away.
That doesn't make any sense.
To keep everybody away from the FISA document.
But you know what? It's also possible the people that were at that shooting, their memories all fucked up because there was somebody shooting people. That's a real thing. Like that's 100%.
Did she sound like she didn't know what she was talking about?
She didn't
that teacher?
sound like it then, but that wasn't when the shooting was going down.
Yeah, you got
When you see people like right when they've seen some shit, their brain's scrambled.
Yeah.
That's something to have to take into consideration, especially some nice lady, probably never saw anybody get shot in their life, probably never saw much violence.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
There's two sides of it. There's people that believe the official story, and then there's people that see it as, oh, this was the false flag to distract from the FISA document.
Listen, I'm not saying that false flags don't exist. I mean, you and I have discussed on this podcast in great detail
If they're
the
willing
most
to-
important false
Yeah,
flag, which
yeah.
is Operation Northwoods.
Yeah, if they're willing to do that, they're willing to do anything.
Well, it's not. This is also the problem. When we say they, Operation Northwoods was 1962. The question is, if that's how they did business back then, which is what they did. I mean, Operation Northwoods, they were planning on attacking Guantanamo Bay with going to arm Cuban friendlies, have them attack Guantanamo Bay. They were going to sacrifice American lives. They were going to blow up a drone jetliner, blame it on the Cubans. All this was to get us enthusiastic about going to war with Cuba.
Yeah.
They were going to sacrifice American lives. This is 100%. They were going to lie and fake
Which
shit.
is normal. Which is normal
has
for
to be,
empires, for all
right?
countries. This
Has
is just
to
a
be.
normal. False flags it's nothing
Right.
new. It's been going on since the dawn of time.
Right.
False
So-
flags. It's old school shit.
The question is, and this is for the rational person who's like, this is ridiculous. You have to wonder, is that evolved? right? Everything evolves. The way we use technology evolves. The way we use literature evolves. The way we use TV evolves. Everything evolves. Does that evil corruption in government evolve too? Or does it just somehow or another get snuffed out because of the light? I don't buy that. I don't buy that. If you look at all the different things that we've shown that there's collusion in, just look at the fact that someone like Hillary Clinton can run for president while she was making hundreds of thousands of dollars giving speeches to banks. Like when she was in that debate with Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders was like, release his transcripts. Tell us what you said. Tell us what you said to those nice banker people that gave you $500,000 or whatever the fuck they gave you. Yeah. Like, that's insane. To think that someone was like, listen, dude, she is so fucking entertaining. We're going to give her $250,000 for an hour. It's worth it. Trust me, I know we're in the banking business, and I know we make money with money. You know, I mean, we're all about money. We know the value of money. We're in the banking business. This lady talking is worth $250,000. It's the best. She's going to go up there. She's going to knock your socks off.
She's so good.
She's amazing.
And she's funny.
She's hilarious.
Oh my, she's amazing.
Her speech is super
It's
well
so
prepared. And she stands up there on the podium and just knocks your fucking dick into the dirt. What is this? Hillary Clinton gets humiliating $7,000 less than Snooki for a speech at Rutgers as her story grows old. Oh wow! So she got her price slashed to $25,000.
I think they're gonna throw her under the bus.
Her standard fee was $200,000 per speech, but some folks suggest that it may be her broken record that set the recent slash price of $25,000.
She made so much money off the Clinton Foundation. She's fine.
Just stop and
She's
think about that.
She's like, I'll do it for $1,000, dude. I got fucking $100 million from that Haiti earthquake. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but those people like her, I think one of the things in the back of their head is always the potential litigation. I think they always want to stockpile legal funds because someone could always come after them.
Yeah,
if you
and
stop
plus
and
they
think
get
about
used
the
to it. They're
Clinton
like,
Foundation,
damn. They're like, you know, if you had $100 million and now you have, you know, $75 million, you're like, oh my god,
get down to 50.
Yeah, I got to take some odd jobs and shit. Do some speeches in Saudi Arabia.
Listen, it should be illegal for someone to run for president if someone who they could influence in a positive way with passing things and signing legislation, if you know, pushing things forward, using their influence, if someone is in a position that they could do that for a company and that company winds up giving you $200,000 to talk, that's just fucking insane. That's insane. That's bribery. Are you saying that it's worth $200,000? If she sucked every dick in the room, it wouldn't be worth $200,000, right? There's no way. Who's going to pay $1,000 for a Hillary Clinton blowjob other than for the story?
I think she can get a lot of money for blowjobs.
Do you think so?
Dude, I think fucking like
someone...
alt-right guys would just be fucking throwing down, dude. Busting, having bukkakis. You know what I mean? She'd do a bukkake for...
This feels like a disrespectful turn we're taking with Hillary
Yeah,
Clinton.
I'm sorry.
As a person, forget about it as a woman. Just as a politician, no one should be... It should just be impossible.
There's a conspiracy theory that Hillary Clinton's father, Hugh Rodham, I'm assuming he's not alive anymore, but was a huge Jewish mob boss who was responsible for opium going into Chicago. I don't know if that's real, but it makes sense to me.
Look, well, we know for a fact that some politicians have run drugs before.
The Bushes?
Here's the biggest one. The fucking Kennedys. Open, flat out. I mean, it was moonshine at the time, but guess what? That's drugs.
Yeah,
that's as much of a drug as weed.
Worse than weed.
It's worse, way worse. I mean, that is how the Kennedy family made their money.
We needed a president to run marijuana. Yeah. How cool would that have been?
Tommy Chong for president.
Like Jimmy Carter was like, he just stuck to marijuana.
Tommy Chong for president. Tommy's got diversity on his side. Cheech could be the running mate. Cheech and Chong, 2020. Guys, get on it. I'll have you on the podcast. I support you 100%.
If you think about all the stuff the government was willing to do over time, like you know, Operation Northwood, for instance, they were willing to kill their own people. You know, there's a lot of corruption, bribery, a lot of shit in the government, right? Right.
Yeah.
If you had to equate that to one person, you could say the U.S. government is kind of like John Gotti.
Right.
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 Kind of, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like killed some people.
Yeah, for sure.
Killed his own people if they cross him.
Definitely mob bossy.
A lot of scamming going on. A lot of stealing. He's kind of like a politician. He's kind of like the overall. You know, how could anybody trust anything he would say?
Right.
Yeah, and anytime someone would say, "Hey, dude," like some John Gotti nerd came up and goes, "Dude, do you know he killed 15 people one night in Miami?" You wouldn't go, "Dude, where's the proof? Where's the proof? Show me." You wouldn't say that. You would go, you believe it. And even if it wasn't true, he's like, he's still a douchebag. He's still a criminal. He's still killing people. So, yeah, you were wrong about that. I was actually, trafficante, and it wasn't, but still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People just naturally, when it comes to the government, they know how corrupt they are. They know that they're willing to kill their own people. They know that the politicians aren't waking up going, how am I going to make everyone's lives better? So all those speeches you hear, them trying to like help, they're not thinking about helping. They're thinking about keeping their power. They're criminals. That's what's going on. So,
well, they're in a business, and this business has criminal rules.
Yeah.
They've allowed them to have these criminal rules.
It's all about how can every politician, they're all trying to get a hold of that tax money. Oh, that's the end game right there. You get that tax money, you could steal tax money and people were never going to come after you. You steal corporation money, you're going to die.
Yeah, they don't even get mad if you steal tax money.
Yeah, the tax money. It's like, just come up with a bill. Come up with something, anything, just anything. Okay, this bill's to build churches, and we're going to help children around the world, and we're going to find a cure for leukemia. They're like, fuck yeah, cool, boom. It's really easy. You just got to make up some shit. You got to pretend that you're going to help people. Oh, this one's the Affordable Housing Act. Yeah. We're going to help out poor people. Like that politician's really trying to help. What they're trying to do is rip off tax money. That's it. It's all.
Well, they're allocate it, move it to the people that they want to have it to. Yeah, it's a dirty business. I'm hoping that changes in the future.
I think the way we are being programmed and indoctrinated, I think it's genius. It's working so goddamn well because it works on really smart people. There's intelligent people all over the goddamn
because people
world.
Are invested in the system. Everybody's invested in the
system. The indoctrination, the school system, man. School really is like designed to get take the kids from the family. Like the kids believe their teachers more than their own parents, and the state takes your kid. They're raising their kids. It's ridiculous, man.
I think most of what's going on in schools is not that. I think most of it is people that are just totally apathetic about teaching people. They don't give a fuck. Most of these people that are teaching, they're doing it as a job. There's a lot of terrible fucking teachers out there, and they don't get paid anything. And that's the big conspiracy. That it's not.
They're taught and told how to teach and what to teach.
Sure.
They're not like, okay, just give us your own version of English.
This is all put together with educators. They get together and try to figure out a way to get people to learn these things, but it's uninspired. That's more than anything. There's no money to it.
The conspiracy theory is that John Rockefeller and Carnegie designed the school system to create slaves and to separate the family. That's the conspiracy theory.
The conspiracy theory is they designed it to create workers, right?
Yeah.
The people that are slaves to the system.
And the conspiracy theories, they openly said we don't need any more
geniuses,
philosophers or geniuses. We got enough of that. We got that, and we got science right here. We got any science you need, come to us. Like what was the last? What was the last great scientific discovery like in the last 40 years that wasn't government funded? Like I
don't know who's funding these studies. Why do you think that they're government funded? Like some new shit that they come out with.
I don't know. See, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
No one can name anything.
Well, I don't know what. I mean, we'd have to go over some of the studies, but I'm sure a lot of them are not government funded.
I'm assuming that most scientists are getting paychecks from the government. I'm just assuming that. I'm assuming that most scientific data is coming from a bunch of scientists who
get grants.
They're getting grants, and they can't say crazy shit. They got it, and they're, I sent you that one email. That one guy was telling me that he worked for a team of scientists, and they're working for a pesticide company, and they're told they go, we're going to do some studies here, and we want it to look like this, and let's keep doing it. Let's keep doing the studies until boom, we get. Oh,
well, that's legal. They can do that. Yeah, it's a terrible thing. Yeah,
that's insane.
They keep doing a study until they get the results they want, and then they don't publish the bad studies. They only publish the good studies, and this is what they've done.
It seems like there's basically, in a nutshell, like three kinds of science. There's the science, like pseudoscience. It's like it's pretend science, but for sure it's not real. It's false science, pseudoscience. And then there's the scientific facts, like for sure. It's a scientific fact that I can get on the internet with my iPhone. I don't need to read a study about it and say, oh, I actually can. I know it. My friends know it. That's a scientific fact. Another scientific fact is my car will take me to point A, to point B, to point C over and over, and it may break down every now and then. That's a fact. The science of my car. I believe that science.
Okay.
That's scientific fact. And then there's a science that you have to take the scientist's word for it, because there's no way that you can verify that. If you have to have faith in science, that's like a religion.
Like
That's
okay,
scientism.
but no, hold on a second. What are you talking about? Like what particular?
Like any kind of science, whether it's medical science. If you have a choice to believe in science that you can't verify yourself, you could believe it. But you don't have to believe it. You
right,
could
but
say,
the experts in the field verify it. All the people that
but
understand
with
and
all
study it
with all
verify it.
all the science that we know that has been corrupted, just the big ones: sugar science, tobacco science, marijuana science, vaccine science. We know for sure just those four that there's been a lot of corruption, and so it's hard to trust. So when someone comes out, and especially the government, and goes, "Yeah, our scientists say that it's safe and effective," you got to be like, "Damn, I don't know about that. I'm not going to just take your fucking word for it." You know what I mean? You guys are criminals. You're John Gotti, and you guys are saying that this is safe and effective. I don't know about that. You know, maybe it is. I hope it is, but I don't know. I don't know, because I can't prove it for myself.
Oftentimes, drugs that get passed as being safe, and they turn out to not be safe.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
This is one of the problem with these studies.
Exactly.
This is like what we were talking about earlier with that nobody wants to discuss the idea that psychotropic drugs have played a part in school shootings. This is all a very recent thing with human beings.
Yeah, if those
they're talking
kids
about
really
the recent
did it,
spike, but they're talking about the recent spike in shootings, even by people they know were mass shooters. Those people are almost all on these pills.
Yeah.
But these pills are very recent.
They leave Big
So
Pharma
when you're
alone.
talking about so when you're talking about just the history of human beings involved in mass killings, it's really recent.
They're
like
crazy.
It's just ramping up. It's going crazy. Yeah, well, you know what also is ramping up? People taking pills.
Yeah.
These things are somehow, they might not be the cause of it 100%. It might be society. It might be suppression. It might be terrible childhood rearing. It might be childhood abuse. It might be all sorts of like mental health issues that are inherited. All sorts of crazy diseases that people inherit, mental diseases.
In the vaccine pamphlets, there's, I think, the HPV vaccine that like girls are taking it at 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah.
Man, the shit that it says in the pamphlet.
That's a dangerous one, too.
There's one possible side effect is suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
Wanting to. It's called impending doom.
What's that?
I watched Take Your Pills last night, that documentary on Netflix that's been going around.
How is it?
It's pretty good. There's not a lot
That's
of
not the
information.
Adderall one, is it?
No, it is, yeah.
It is, yeah.
So there's not a lot of information we don't already know. I feel like they just kind of compile it and make it look really good. But one interesting thing that you just brought up, doctor says in it, there's no side effects to pills. There's just unintended benefits or non-benefits that you want. They're all effects. There's no like side effect of like diarrhea, for instance. It's an effect of the pill. It just wasn't what you wanted.
I see what you're saying. So if you
So
take
don't call it
something-
side effect.
Yeah.
Call
So
it
he takes-
an effect.
Right, yeah.
Right, so if you take something and on some people it gives suicidal thoughts, it's not
Right.
a side effect.
Yeah.
It's just an effect of taking that
Yeah,
pill.
there's people. There's girls wanting to kill themselves for taking the HPV vaccine.
Not just that, for taking acne medication. Accutane is a big one
come
for that.
on.
Cool.
What-
Do you know Andrew Santino? Hilarious comedian?
Nuh-uh.
Funny motherfucker. He took Accutane when he was in high school? Is that what he said? Said it was like the best thing that ever happened to him because his face totally cleared up, but the worst thing that ever happened to him in terms of like how it made him feel. Like it makes you feel, a lot of people get it and they get suicidal thoughts.
Yeah, for sure. See, so you got to ask yourself, you know, even if whether kids really are shooting up schools or it's a false flag and they're setting up the kids to do it, well, that's
Right.
the other side. Whatever the truth is there's a gigantic problem with these pills that are making people crazy, and no one really. This is not a big push to stop it or anything. They're being protected. They're being protected.
Are, but there's a giant business in it. There's billions of dollars for sure, but there's also a lot of people that like those pills. There's a lot of people that love Xanax. Like this is one of those things where we always want to look at the bad side of it.
A lot of people love crack too.
Crack business.
You know, you could get thrown in jail
Still
for
strong.
that.
Yeah. No, for sure. But I mean, people that are functional people, just how you like weed, I like weed. Some people like Xanax. I'm not saying you can't have that. It's not my opinion. That's not how I feel. What I am saying is, like, we need to be honest about the consequences of all these things. And that this is somehow or another left out of the equation when I think it's a major part of the equation. I don't think it's the only reason why people are shooting up schools or any of this shit, but I think it absolutely must be playing a factor. And for whatever reason, people don't want to consider that factor. And I think some of it is because there's a lot of people out there who like those pills. They like the way they feel on antidepressants. They like the way they feel on anti-anxiety medication. They like taking Ambien before they go to bed. They don't want to hear. They like what it gives them. I know people who can't sleep without Ambien. They can't sleep without it. And if you tried telling them that Ambien fucks up your heart rate or does this to that, or make up some things. I don't know if it fucks up your heart rate. I'm just saying that. If you started saying that to people, they would just immediately tune out. Whatever, dude. I'm sleeping like a baby.
You know, it'd be a great false flag is if they set up another shooter and just said he was totally stoned. You know, that way they could reverse. They could reverse this.
Nobody would buy
the
that.
legalization of weed. Of course, it's a joke.
Do you know what what I started smoking?
No, but they have
mind?
the power. They have the power in the media to turn it into that. Like all of a sudden, these guys are getting really high in Colorado and in California. We need a. It's a joke. Okay, it's not funny.
That wouldn't work today. I've been smoking blunts, and I smoked them. I was like, okay, now I understand rap music. Like, I was like, these rappers are so aggressive, but they're also high. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? It's the goddamn tobacco. Tobacco mixed in with weed, that is a different thing. That's a different animal. It's a little too potent sometimes. It's a little too, woo. It's like, you're like, what are we talking about?
I like it every now and then.
Every now and then
I like it. I'm like, you know what? It gives you a different kind of head buzz.
Well, tobacco gives you, Donald Cerrone got me on the dip. When he was not haven't done it since then, but when we were in the podcast, he did it. And I swallowed some of it, and but one thing I liked about it, I was like, oh, now I get why you guys do it. It hypes you up. It gets you kind of like elevated. You know, it's like you ever smoke a cigar?
Maybe two.
It's a powerful version of a cigarette. Like you're getting some serious fucking nicotine in your system when you smoke a fat stogie. You got a big old fucking Hoyo de Monterey double Corona, and you're
Fidel Castro style.
By the time you get to the end of that thing, you're high as fuck, dude. You're not high like you can't talk or like you can't walk or you can't function, but you're definitely feeling that tobacco. It's doing something to your system. And they say it actually has a cognitive enhancing function that's similar to nootropics and coffee as well. That it actually can make you perform better in tests if you smoke cigarettes or if you smoke a cigar. And writers always say that. Like I know a lot of people who write, like writers for sitcoms and stuff like that, those guys always smoke cigarettes when they write. They say they can't write without smoking. Stephen King said that.
It's like their weed.
Yeah, well, it does have something going on, man. But it's instead of like it's not. To me, it's more like amped than it is creative. Weed is super creative. Weed makes me think of thoughts where I write them down. I'm like, I can't even claim that. That's not even my thought. That's weed's thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would have never just leave me by myself with no drugs and a notebook. I would have never come up with that idea. But the weed's like, hey man, listen to this. You know, the weed is way more of a like an idea steroid.
I believe it.
Dude, I see people who don't smoke weed and they write. I'm like, oof, you're so brave. Yeah, out there with no helmet, you got no life preserver on.
And now it's crazy legal everywhere.
That's amazing.
This recreational weed in California, it's insane. You just walk.
9 states now.
Yeah, crazy.
I think 18 states have legal medical and 9 states have legal recreational.
9.
Massachusetts. Yeah, it's a wave. It's going across the whole country. It's changing everything. And it's good. And you know what the next wave is? MDMA. MDMA therapy for PTSD patients has unprecedented results.
Really?
MAPS is involved in this.
Damn.
What is it? Multiple Disciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies or something like that. MAPS is an amazing, really above-board organization that is at the forefront of legalization of psychedelics and of psychedelic research. And they've been involved in studies with soldiers, and they have amazing results with this stuff. MDMA just lets you forgive yourself. It lets you forget everything. It reprograms your brain. It lets you forgive other people in your life.
It changes. One hit of MDMA.
MDMA.
That always confuses me. Molly. It's a lot easier. One hit can change your taste in music forever. Forever.
I believe it.
Because before I ever did it, the first time I did it was 1997. And before that, I was a DJ at this point, and I couldn't stand techno. I hated techno music so much, and I was a DJ, and anytime a girl went on stage and she was a techno girl, I'm like, this is, because I play drums for real, so when you listen to techno or house, it's like, that's the most basic dumb shit. Every song, every fucking drum beat's the same. I couldn't accept it as a musician, and most musicians feel that way about techno. And I went to a birthday party at the Key Club in Hollywood, and I walk in, and upstairs is techno, and downstairs in the like little bottom club is hip hop. And it was a birthday party, and everyone was downstairs, and me and my buddy Rick, we walk in, and we're standing at the edge of the techno floor, and there's like all these dudes just like dancing by themselves, and they're just like mental cases, right? And I was just standing there looking at them going, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Oh my God. So I went downstairs, they're playing hip hop. I'm like, that's what I want to hear at clubs. I want to hear hip hop at a club. I want to dance with a girl, not by myself, you know? So I'm downstairs, and then they start passing around some Molly, and some say, you want to do it? And I'll never forget that first one was Blue. I'm like, whew. I don't know. So I took it, me and my buddy both took it, and it hit us. That first hit just hits you like a fucking ton of bricks. We go upstairs, and we're on the dance floor dancing like morons, dude. And we're looking at each other and go, you get it? He goes, I get it. I go, you get it? I get it. And from that point on, you got all into trance. Yeah. From that point, and it wasn't just like that night. It changed my musical taste in one hit. And I had a friend at the club who was a total R&B dude. He hated techno, and he would talk shit when I would play techno. I go, one day you're going to do some Molly and you're going to be all into techno. He goes, fuck you, that'll never happen. I can't stand this music. He starts dating the raver chick like 6 months later at the club, some raver chick. He ends up at a rave. He ends up dropping some Molly. He starts coming in and bringing all these new techno CDs, and he's all into, full blown into trance and techno. Just one hit.
This is the real problem. It's illegal. So when you get it from someone, you don't know what the fuck you're getting. That's the real problem with Molly. That's the real problem with MDMA. It's also the dosage. You don't know what the dosage is supposed to be. Look, you can overdose on alcohol, and alcohol's everywhere, but everybody knows what the dose of alcohol is. If you go to a bar and you get a shot of Jack Daniels, you know what that is. It's not like sometimes you get a shot of Jack Daniels and it's Jack Daniels. Sometimes you get it and it's super fucking moonshine. It's 17 times stronger and you die. That's the problem with heroin. That's the problem with a lot of things. The real problem with MDMA seems to be that it's illegal. That's the real problem. And what they're finding is that there's great benefits if it's used correctly. I mean, anything can be abused, but that doesn't mean we should make it illegal. And what they want to do, I think their timeline is somewhere around 2021, making it legal for therapy. It's going to change the world. It's going to change everything. It's going to change the way people feel about the past. It's going to change the way people interact with each other. You're going to know just by people's behavior whether or not they've ever done it or not.
You know where it comes from?
Where MDMA comes from? Well,
the part of it, the active ingredient that takes you, that just makes you...
It's a plant, right? Where's that plant at?
It's in Thailand,
crazy wars over
either
it.
Thailand or...
It's like a bark.
What's Cambodia? It's in Cambodia. It's like the bark, like the... something about the root of a tree trunk or something. It has something to do with a tree.
Well, Jamie's pulling it up, but it becomes very dangerous for those people, right? Like all that.
The trafficking becomes crazy. Yeah. They fuck up forests. Like forests are being chopped down just for the.
Not only that, people are being murdered. It's like it's heavy duty stuff.
Is it sassafras?
I don't know. Is that what it says?
I googled it and just looked at the images, and that's what's popping up.
I think there was a Vice
MDMA, Cambodia trees.
Yeah, that's what I MDMA bark.
Is it sassafras? Okay, maybe that is sassafras and saffroli. Sassafras, yeah. I guess it's sassafras.
Dude, it's a plant.
Whatever that plant is, they take the. See if that. Just Google Vice, the making of ecstasy, because I'm pretty sure Vice did this. Could you Google that, please? I think Vice had that special on that.
I wonder what would happen if you just ate it raw.
I wonder. Can you do that? Is there a special? What does it say? The truth about ecstasy. Yeah, so there's some sort of a Vice episode where they grow this stuff. Anyway, this should be something that's not distributed by criminals wearing ski masks like you're seeing in this video. It should be something distributed by stores. And there should be doctors. And if you wanted it, you could have a rave where you even have medical centers in the rave where you keep people from overdosing.
Yeah.
When there's the transitionary period from people going from drugs being totally illegal to some drugs having massive benefits. Like if you go to a club, right? And everyone there's, come on, we're doing shots. The whole fucking bar is getting wasted and drunk. Everybody's fine with that, but you're not fine with a club where everybody does a small amount of ecstasy. Well, why can't you do that? Well, that's drugs. Well, the other one's drugs too. You're just used to those drugs. Once we get past that hurdle, and it might take a whole generation before people get used to places where you can go.
One drug gets you violent. One drug makes you want to have sex.
But listen, you're not going to stop that drug. Here's my point. It's a powerful, really useful drug. People are going to find out about it. It's an amazing experience. They're going to do it. So what's the best way to handle that? Best way to handle it is make it safe. Make it legal. Make it regulated so they know what actually is in each one of these fucking pills. You're not getting it from some pimp or some asshole or some fucking crazy dude who stuffed it in a balloon and put it up his asshole and made it across the border with it. You don't know where the fuck you're getting this stuff
from.
And
they cut it with all sorts of shit,
all sorts of shit, amphetamines and all sorts of crazy shit. And people die from it because they don't know what the fuck is in there. Here it is. Yeah. Okay, it says, oh boy, MREAHPREWPHNOM trees, Marie Prue Prom trees in Cambodia. And they're found in Cambodia's, sassafras. The factory's been set up to distill sassafras oil processed by boiling the roots and the trunk of the exceptionally rare plant. Oh, they're really rare trees, too. Wow. How crazy is that? How many of these fucking trees are like in the middle of the rainforest that we don't know about? You know, I mean, there's got to be some shit where they haven't tapped into it yet. They're finding all sorts of different pharmaceutical drugs that they concoct out of stuff plants they
in
find
the Amazon.
Yeah,
Isn't it something like insects are evolving so fast in the Amazon that they only have names for, I think, 10% of the insects. 90% they have no names.
No, it's crazy.
Is that true?
They have all sorts of bugs in the Amazon for sure that they haven't identified. They know that for a fact, and they do evolve. They're a rare thing where there's like some primitive life forms you could find that didn't exist before. Like they found this crayfish, I think it's in India or Europe, maybe Europe. Crayfish that produces by cloning. They don't have sex. So they're all female. And one crayfish just makes a bunch of other babies. Just makes babies.
She doesn't need sex.
She doesn't need sex. And they're like, what the fuck? I mean, obviously there's no genetic diversity, right? Because they obviously would need a male DNA to mix with the female DNA. There it is. Mutant crayfish clones itself and it's taking over Europe. So this crayfish doesn't fuck. They just reproduce. Like one crayfish can just reproduce. It's really bananas. So this is a new thing that didn't exist 25 years ago. This is something that they're very sure wasn't a living organism up until recently. Here's the good thing. Crayfish are delicious. People are starving to death. Now they got some motherfuckers that all you have to do is just throw some stuff in there. You don't have to count on them fucking.
Maybe it's the same stuff that made the frogs gay.
Could be. Could be, bro.
Maybe it's linked.
Could be, bro. But it could be pesticides. Could be, look, there's another thing about the amount of people that flush pills down the toilet and how much that shit goes through water treatment plants and into aqueducts and into reservoirs and shit. Yeah. There's a lot of pills that get flushed down our toilets, and some of them make it into rivers and shit. Some of them make it into the ocean. You know what's supposed to be particularly bad? I never thought about this until a friend of mine who was a surfer told me. He was a yoga teacher, was a surfer, and said nobody told him, and he got real sick because he went into the ocean right after the rain. You can't go to the ocean after the rain because when it rains in L.A., all that bullshit, all the chemicals and toxins and cleaners and oil and gasoline and plastic washes into the water, like right at the shore. And that's where it's all just swashing around in there with the waves, and you get in there and you get sick as fuck. You're basically getting poisoned.
Is there some kind of filtration system before they just let all the water just run right into the ocean?
Runs right in from the streets, from the runoff, just from the streets.
I think, where does the toilet water go? Is that
toilet
separate?
water goes through a sewage system.
Different system.
Yeah, it goes through a sanitation system. But sometimes those break. I was at the Charles River in Boston once, and it was like right across the street from where I lived. And I'd hang out there all the time when I was a kid. And I was standing there on the shore, and I saw these bubbles and like these chunks of things floating up to the water. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And then I saw a condom, bloop, come up. And I went, oh, that's a sewer pipe. They're flushing condoms and like shit and condom water. It's coming right through the fucking ground into this river where all these fish live.
Yeah.
And these fish are probably living off of human shit.
What's the water like after the sewage water runs through the filtration system? What is that water like?
Perfect.
And where does it go?
Fiji bottles.
Does it go into Fiji?
$2.99 for 8 ounces.
Based on what I saw online, it seems like Fiji water is the best water out there. Like they tested a lot of bottled water, and a lot of bottled water has a lot of bullshit in it.
Look at this. After 50 years, Boston's Charles River just became swimmable again. Took $500 million and nearly 2 decades of work. Here's how the city did it. That's it, man. That was the river that's connected to that river went all the way down near my house.
Why was it so polluted?
People are gross. Well, dude, when people started building shit in the 1800s, they didn't give a fuck about the future. They took that sewer pipe and went, just lay it right there and pump it right into the fucking ocean. I'm going to take a shit right in that water. It's going to go shooting down that pipe and drop right on a fish's head. Who cares? They didn't give a fuck. When they were building things, they would have all their industrial runoff just go right into rivers. They polluted thousands of rivers. Like, who the fuck knows how many fish died because people in the early days of the Industrial Revolution were fucking assholes. They didn't have any consequences. They didn't think about the possibility of completely destroying the environment. Like, that didn't exist before the age of the industrial machines. The only time it existed before that was when dead bodies would pollute river systems and shit after war. You know?
Yeah.
Like when people would throw bodies into rivers, like that would fuck up people's wells. That would fuck up, any drinking water. People got real sick from
How
that.
did kings shit? What did their toilets look like? Like back in the 1500s, 1600s?
Looked like some dude that hates mouth.
Yeah,
They'd take
exactly,
that dude,
right?
Make him lie
they had
down,
to have
shit right in his
They
mouth.
had to have pimp ass toilets for the kings back in the day.
I'm sure they did. Why don't you Google it, Jamie?
King's
Google
toilets.
toilet from King Henry VIII. King Henry VIII is the guy who killed all his wives, right?
I got toilets from all the way back in the BCs, but I'm going to go to more reasonable.
King Henry VIII got tired of those ladies, just cut their fucking heads off.
Where does a king's loaf go to? Where does it lead
Gets
to?
inspected by doctors. They want to make sure he's got enough fiber in his diet. Keep His Highness alive.
Where did the
Jamie
king's
just found
ships
something.
go?
What'd you just find, Jamie? What's that face?
Something called a thunder mug.
Oh, nice. Pull that up.
Make sure it was what it was supposed
Here
to
we
be.
go.
Hold on.
Make sure. Oh, okay. This is from the 1600s. That's what he shit into?
It says that's what I was saying. This is a Shakespearean chamber pot, not the bard's own thunder mug, but it is a typical chamber pot.
And that's what they would call them, chamber pots?
I think.
So it's a pot you shit in. Like literally you shit in a pot. That looks sturdy. So it's really like a toilet bowl. It's like a toilet bowl. It just doesn't have water in it.
Right.
Do you think they've left water in it to make it easier to clean?
Probably next to it.
Probably smarter to have water in there. So you plop
fill
into
it
the
up.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Otherwise,
you get a couple slaves to pull it out, dump it, and you're good.
like if you ever have to take a shit on a plane and you see how little water there is in that little thing that you're dropping logs into, and then when you flush, it never gets it all. You know, and you got to think, do I just like play stupid and get out of here? Or do I give a courtesy flush?
American Revolution, there's a hole in the ground.
Nice. Imagine falling into that hole. That's your death. You choke to death on shit. It's happened. 100%'s happened. It's happened. I read about a dude who fell into a septic tank. He fell into a septic tank and drowned. Had a septic tank in his backyard. And he was fixing it somehow or another, and it broke. He fell through, and he drowned in a fucking septic tank.
How did they get rid of their shit in the city? Just regular peasants? Like what? They just threw it out on the streets, or did they have to collect it and drag it out to the woods?
It's a good question. Well, there was a real issue in Rome in the early days of people shitting in the streets. And apparently there's a lot of people in San Francisco right now that are shitting in the streets. It's a real issue. Jake Shields, my friend, the MMA fighter, jiu-jitsu master, Jake Shields. You know Jake Shields,
Yes.
of course. He put a video up on Instagram of some dude shitting, like pulling his pants down and like shitting right into the street. Like he said, it's happening everywhere.
San Francisco has an amazing amount of bums.
I think it was Jake Shields. I don't want to speak out of turn. Pretty sure it was
That's the
Jake.
best city for homeless people, for
Dude,
sure.
they let people do whatever the fuck they want in that city. They're so nice.
Yeah.
They're so open-minded, and they feel so guilty because they made $1 billion from like Brazzers.com or some shit. You know, they made all that tech money.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a different kind of money. They're so liberal in comparison to like Wall Street banker type dudes. Those dudes are like cutthroat, right wing, like private jet, fuck you, mink coat, big watch, go, go, go.
Yeah.
I'm doing coke. Whereas the money on the other side, like the tech money, they're all like, well, diversity is really important, and women, they need to be represented in tech, and this is their space. This is the space for them too. We need to let them know. We need to encourage that. Like they're so left wing. They're like these homeless people. They also are just because they don't have an address doesn't mean this city is not equally theirs. You know, we have to help them and offer aid. And crackheads just taking diarrhea splatter shits against walls. Like they just let these people get away. They were fucking mentally ill people, and they just let them wander around through their streets.
Yeah.
If they really cared, you know what they would do? They would really put some money into taking care of these people instead of just letting them wander around the street shitting all over the place. Have a place where you can get them clothes from the Salvation Army or something like that. Have a place where you give them regular showers. Have something that's like appealing they can go to all the time, so you keep them from just shitting on the streets in front of everybody. Like that's crazy.
Billy Corrigan had a residency in San Francisco maybe 8 years ago, and it was all about him just writing songs on the spot and then going on stage that night and doing brand new songs, like a weird kind of residency. And he had this one song that he wrote about. He was just hanging out in the park in San Francisco and just wrote about the bums and how disgusting it all was, and called the song Peace and Love. Excellent song. One of his greatest songs. It's deep. It's about the bums.
There's so many, man. We used to run into him all the time when we did gigs in San Francisco. We'd go out to eat, and you'd have to do like this bum obstacle course on the way to the restaurant. Like, oh, here comes one. Get across the street. Oh, no, I don't have any money, bro. They're super aggressive, too.
Yes.
People are real tolerant there.
Yeah.
But isn't that better? That's better than the opposite. I think it's good to live in a place that's as tolerant as possible. Even if the super lefties get annoying, you don't want the opposite. See, they might fuck up because there's the same sort of mentality that goes on with people on the far left and people on the far right. And that mentality is, my way's the right way. I'm right. You're wrong. Fuck you. I'm going to make you change. I'm going to make you do and that doesn't work. That doesn't work on anybody. But I always feel like it's safer and better when that's happening towards like kindness and compassion and income equality and all these things that are, I see, like, even though it gets very authoritarian, I see that at least it has like a good heart to it all. Like even if it's misguided, some of it's some socialism's misguided.
Or even if they're pretending.
Yeah, there's always that. That's a good move, right? If you're going to pretend, you pretend towards the left. You know, if you want to make some money.
Yeah, you could steal all sorts of tax money. Just pretend you're helping people.
There's definitely a lot of that going on. There's no doubt about that. Dude, we haven't talked about Attorney Ferguson. It's 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
This is the kind of podcast
Is it 2 o'clock already?
Dude.
Holy shit.
We ramble.
God damn.
We have to talk about Tony Ferguson, seeing as how you're his jiu-jitsu coach. And I was fucking convinced. I told Jamie, I told Jimmy Smith, I'm like, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. It's April Fools. This shit's coming out on April Fools. Fuck you, man. You fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 50 times or how many times I've been busted by April Fools. I'm like, there's no fucking way Tony Ferguson got hurt a week before the fight.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
And it's true.
That's the first thing I thought. I'm like, oh my God, everyone's going to think this is April Fool's.
That's what Dana said.
Yeah, no one's going to believe this. You know, I found out late Saturday night. You know, I'm in the studio with Danny Lohner just making some music. And, you know, I knew something might have been wrong because we were supposed to work Saturday afternoon. And he never no-shows. He's late a lot, but he was late, and I'm just hanging out in front of the studio. He's got his own gym now. And after a while, he didn't return his text. I'm like, something, you know, he's a fucking superstar. There's a lot of shit going on, so I just said, okay, fuck it. So I left and went on with my day, went in the studio, and then I get the text, like at 11:25 at night, Saturday night. He said, I fucked up my knee, blew my fucking LCL out. He wants to fight. He wants to fight. He does not. He did not want to fight, but his doctor said you can't fight, and he was like, I need a second opinion. So he went to the UFC doctors. They said, nope, you can't fight. His LCL's detached from his knee, according to.
So it's pulled from the bone.
It's pulled off the bone.
Yeah.
That's what they said. It's really. It's not like usually you.
That's
tear,
how Dana described it.
Yeah, usually you tear your LCL or your MCL. Usually, because I've done my MCL before, it repairs on its own. It's so thick, according to what the doctors tell me.
Yeah.
I don't know shit. But there, you know, but you tear your meniscus, you probably need surgery for that, or you tear your ACL, you for sure need surgery for that, if it's a complete tear. But the LCL and the MCL, the only time again, according to what I hear, the only time you need surgery is if it's fucking blown the fuck out, like motorcycle accidents,
Right.
like freak things. And when I say Tony wanted to fight, he would have fought with that shit. He didn't give a fuck. They wouldn't let him fight. He wanted to fight.
Was he walking with sunglasses on indoors?
I don't know. I don't know what he was wearing.
This is what
I don't know.
Dana was saying, I think. Said he tripped over some wires.
Some, you know, those thick cables that they lay.
Yeah.
Apparently he tripped over one and fell. Fucking.
That's insane.
It's the craziest thing ever.
It's insane.
It's so crazy.
It's so sad. That fight is doomed. Dana White said he would never put that fight on again. I'm like, are you crazy? Book that shit again.
The thing that sucks
Book
is
it. Maybe 4 is the magic number.
Dana said in an interview, kind of hinted or alluded to the fact. I hope I'm wrong. But that they're going to strip Tony of his interim belt. Like, you know, Robert Whitaker.
Where'd you see that?
Someone told me. I didn't hear it, so that's why I'm saying I don't know if it's true. Someone said, "Yeah, Dana just did an interview, and he was hinting like, or he said it in such a way that Tony is going to get stripped of his belt." And I thought,
here's my
that's
question.
ridiculous.
Well, here's my question: if someone is the champ, right, and they get injured and they can't defend their title, then they have an interim title, right?
Yeah.
But if the interim guy gets injured and can't defend
The interim title.
do they strip the? Does that ever happen?
Robert Whitaker,
Tony
he went
Ferguson
through the same thing.
loses interim lightweight title when Nurmagomedov and Holloway square off. So I guess they're taking the title.
Yeah, they didn't
from
do
him.
that. I mean, they didn't do that to Robert Whitaker. He was the interim champion.
Should they have an interim? No.
I don't know, man. But
It doesn't seem
they
right.
let Whitaker take 11 months off to recover.
Why would they do that?
It was the exact same thing. It was the exact same situation. Robert Whitaker was fighting for the interim, or he had the interim title.
Right.
He was going to fight. I forget who it was. It was either
So
was
do
it
you
Yo
feel like-
Romero? I forget who it was. And then he got injured. They didn't strip him.
Right.
Why are they stripping Tony?
Do you feel like it's punishment for him getting injured a week out? Like they're pissed and like, fuck it, strip
Injuries?
him?
Yeah, I don't know, but that's
You can't do
that's
that, right?
not right. I mean, dude, Tony wanted to fight more than anybody. You got to
But
believe me
what
on
do
that
you
one.
do? Like, if he happens 4 weeks ago and it's an injury in training and he tears it from the bone, is that they just reschedule the fight, right?
Yeah.
And it's still for the interim title. Why is it like a week out, the interim is canceled? Maybe it's because they have to make a big fight with Max Holloway versus Khabib for the world
But
lightweight title.
that cost Tony a lot of money because he has the interim belt. This was going to be by far the biggest payday ever for him. I mean, he was making some good money.
Right.
It's because of the belt.
It's
So if you
because the belt.
strip him, his next fight, he doesn't have that belt anymore to get money. You know, and
He'll get significantly less money. Say, what if
you don't
what
have
if-
a belt, hell yeah.
What if Max or Khabib wins, right? One of them, I assume, is going to win. Whoever one it is. And then Tony gets healthy. And then they're going to have Tony fight one of those guys for the title. Like, he would get less than he would have for this fight?
If he doesn't have the belt.
Really? So that's part of the contract?
If you have a belt, if you're going to negotiate for a fight and you have a belt, you have way more power than if you don't have a belt.
Right.
So by stripping him of the belt, his next fight, when he heals up and comes back, it's gonna cost him.
I see what
And
you're
it's
saying.
not fair because, again, Robert Whitaker didn't get stripped of his interim belt. Max Holloway and Khabib should just fight, a main event fight. Doesn't have to be for a belt because that's gonna fuck Tony.
Well, why would it fuck Tony if he still gets the interim title? If he kept the interim title, then it wouldn't fuck him.
Yes, exactly. For his next fight, when he negotiates for his next fight,
and then he would be interim title holder versus world title holder.
Yeah. Why does Max and Khabib have to fight for a belt? It doesn't have to be for a belt.
Well, the thing is, the UFC holds all the cards. They can make up the rules. They can do whatever they want when it comes to the rankings and stuff, right? They can't do whatever they want when it comes to rules. So with their position, they're like, look, this is going to cost us a shitload of money. How do we recoup that money? You know, how do we, okay, we get Holloway to fight. Yeah, that's almost as big. Yeah. That's a giant fight too. Okay, now we're back. Now we're back in business. And the stripping him thing, I don't know what the policy is on that. I don't know if there's a public policy or if it's just they just make the call.
I think they could do whatever they want to do. I don't think
they would never give up that power if they did have it, like to some organizing body. Like, why would they, right? Because organizing bodies could even get corrupted. But I think you have to be very careful when you make like interim titles that you don't make too many of them and you don't have them around too often. You know, like once you have them, you got to get them resolved pretty quick. Like they're a way to build up excitement about the fight. But yeah, I mean, I don't think they would have stripped him if he got injured 4 weeks ago. But who knows? I might be wrong. They might just be, maybe they have a new policy. Maybe they're just stripping people. But then Conor hasn't fought in 500 days. Yeah, he's not stripped yet.
Exactly.
Conor's not stripped yet. He hasn't fought in more than 500 days. MMA. Last time he fought was Eddie Alvarez. That was his last MMA fight. That was a long time ago, man.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. And then he hasn't been stripped. So imagine being a lightweight, just sitting around waiting while he's on boxing TV, having a boxing match with Floyd Mayweather. He doesn't even get stripped of his title, doesn't defend it, makes $100 million. They're like, when are you fighting again? I was like, who fucking knows?
It would be a lot.
Say shit.
It'd be a lot clearer as what to do in this situation if Conor would have just fought like a regular lightweight champion. There wouldn't be this interim confusion.
Right. It's so good for Conor though. All of it just makes him bigger and bigger. It's like they even changed the rules for him. You know, I mean, like think about that. For him, like it just makes him bigger. He hasn't fought in 500 days. Who fucking cares? He's just rolling around in a bathtub full of $100 bills every day, just diving in there and swimming. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah. Did you see that documentary on Netflix?
No, I didn't.
It's really good. Really good. Yeah. He knew he was going to be a champion back in the day. It starts when he has just one tattoo, the one down his back. That's it. None of the neck tattoos or anything. And he already knew. He knew he just had like dynamite in his hands.
Yeah.
Crushing people on the local scene, crushing them.
Yeah.
One shots. Boom.
Yeah, I saw him fight in 2013, I think. Somewhere around there.
In his first chance at the UFC, I wouldn't have known if I didn't see this documentary. It's hard to keep track of everything, but it was in Sweden. It was a Swedish show. It was like last-minute replacement. They brought him in, and he fought, what was his name? Black guy. Shit, I forget his name. Good guy, real good guy, and he lit him up. And I was like, damn. After that one fight, like there's footage of him and Dana, and like Dana he already knew it. He goes, man, I guess the hype was real. Jesus.
My favorite fights with him are the 2 fights with Nate Diaz, though. You know why? Because those are the fights where he couldn't put someone away. Just crack him and put him away. So you had to see him fight.
Yeah.
He had to fight.
Yeah.
And it's a totally different game. Like, if you see what he did to Eddie Alvarez, that was a totally different kind of fight because he stung Eddie early, had him hurt, and he was his. He owned him. And then he fucked him up and stopped him. That was a beating.
What round was that?
I think it was a second. I think it was a second.
Yeah, he barely made it out of the first, right?
Yeah, barely made it. I mean, he got fucked up from the get-go. Conor just had his number. He's way faster, way quicker in, like, covering distance. Just like laser beams at night. And I don't think Eddie fought right. I think Eddie was a little bit too caught up in the moment. This is the big hype of the fight, getting to fight Conor McGregor, and he just got fucked up. And Conor had his hands behind his back and standing right in front of him, chicken necking him, and then popping him in the face. Like, that was ugly. So that, you know, like what year was that? That was 500. That was 500 days ago. Like that kind of fight is a great fight for Conor, but that's all hammer. When he fought Nate, he had to be the nail. through a lot of that.
Yeah.
The whole fucking second round of the first fight, when Nate got him down, was the second round submission, right? Wasn't it?
I don't know when he submitted him, but
Did Nate submit him in the second round? What are you looking at me funny? What, you got something? These fools pull out more than I do with my dick. That's what Connor said. These fools pull out more than I do with my dick. I like how he had to specify with his dick.
So he must have only pulled out 4 times max. That's not that great.
The fights with Nate were fights. You know, he had to dig deep, and he lost the first one. He got beat up. He got taken down. He got his back taken. He got choked. He tapped. I mean, he fucking lost that fight. And then the second fight, he drops Nate, but he can't put Nate away. Nate gets back up. They're going after it. There's fucking times where he's got to stand and walk away. He's got to walk away because he's too tired. He can't engage right now. Like, so he walked away a couple times in those exchanges. Those were dig fights. What's this, buddy?
Round 2.
Round 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Submission, rear naked choke. 4 minutes and 12 seconds into round 2. Yeah, he beat him down, wore him down, and then stopped him. That's
And the fight that Connor won, could that have gone either way?
Yes.
Right? There was
yes,
arguments, right?
Yes, very close fight.
I don't
very
remember
close
that
fight.
much.
I think under the new rules, Connor probably would have won because I think even just a one knockdown's not good enough for a 10-8 round. It's just not. You know, in a 5-minute round, like one knockdown, it depends on how the other exchanges were going. If the exchanges were all the same and then you cracked him once, you definitely won. But did you win 10-8? Like 10-8 is a beatdown, I think. You know.
Yeah.
But even I think that should be wrong. I don't think it should be that. I think it should be like 100 points.
Yeah.
And I think they should have like scores for like 1 through 10 in striking, 1 through 10 in wrestling, 1 through 10 or non-applicable. If there's no wrestling at all, you just get 10.
Yeah. But you got to look at it this way, though. If you could have a fight and in one round it's super close and really nothing happened, it's super close and no one really connected anything, and that happens all the time. Right. That's a 10-9 round, right?
Right.
And then you compare that to another round where a guy got dropped, but it was kind of a flash knockdown. He pops back up, and then it's kind of even for the rest of the round. That can't be a 10-9 too.
Right.
So either you got to make more 10-10 rounds or 9-9 rounds, and then you could say, okay, a knockdown doesn't necessarily mean 10-8, because then a 10-9 is going to mean one dude clearly won and he landed some good shots. That's a 10-9.
Right.
So it's all how you lay it down. So if you're going to give, a dude where the round could have gone either way, and you're going to give someone a 10-9 and it looks just like a dude getting knocked down, that should be different. So it all depends how, add more draws or make it so that if you knock a dude down, that's an automatic 10-8 round. You knock a dude down, that's 10-8. You knocked him down.
But what if he's beating your ass? But
Then
wait,
that's
hold on.
10-7.
But what if he's beating your ass all over the place, and then you catch him with like 5 seconds to go, drop him, and he gets right back up, and he cracks you with a jab? Do you still get a 10-8 because you dropped him?
I think that's I think I would say that's a 9-9.
Yeah, it's a 9-9 maybe.
Right? Because if you're
depends on how much he's beating your ass before that.
If the guy's beating your ass down the whole round and then you clip him once and he drops, maybe you weren't really beating him down that hard. Maybe it just looked like it because he still cracked you. If you were really beating him down, how was he able to knock you down?
Yeah, but that happens all the time. Guys still have power, especially if you run into something.
That's a hard one to score. That's a hard one to score. A knockdown and then a beatdown, you get outclassed the whole match or the whole round, and then you get knocked down once.
Do you remember when
it's a draw.
Drago, Pete Sell fought Scott Smith?
From Rocky IV?
No,
I'm kidding. I thought that's what you were saying.
No,
like, do you
Pete
remember
Sell.
when Drago in the second round against Rocky?
We met him
remember
a long
how we
time
dropped
ago at
him?
Matt Serra's place. Remember Pete Sell? Do you remember Pete Sell?
Yes, I know exactly where he is.
Pete dropped, he hurt Scott Smith real bad with a left hook to the body. Like, Scott doubled over and winced, and Pete moved in for the kill, and
Yes.
Scott Smith just landed the perfect picture point.
But he was wasn't he
hurting.
faking it?
No,
he was faking it?
No, he dropped in agony after he knocked him out.
Yeah.
Pete hooked him to the body, hurt him real
Yeah.
bad, and when Pete moved in for the kill, Scott
Yeah.
Smith hit him with a picture perfect
That I
right
do
hand.
remember. I remember that
Just
one.
knocked him out.
Yeah.
He falls back, and then Scott Smith drops to the ground after they stop the fight, and he's in agony holding on to his side. It was crazy. It was crazy. See, that can happen. Like, even if you're beating a guy down, they're still moving. If they still just plant and just uncork one, Pat Barry, Czech Congo. Remember that shit? Pat Barry had Czech Congo on Career Street. He was wobbling and all over the place. It looked like the fight was over. And Pat moves in for the kill, and boom! Czech Congo hits him with a haymaker as he's running in. Flatlines Pat Barry for the first time in his career. Shit can happen. If you're not knocked out, you're still moving, you still can knock someone out. It can happen, especially if they get careless. There it is. Hits him with the left. Look at this. Boom. I mean, that's a picture perfect left hook to the body. But watch this. He's in agony. If Pete moves in, bam. I mean, that is a crazy right hand.
That's like round 9 of Lang versus Balboa.
I looked at him on the ground in agony afterwards. Pete Selk couldn't even believe it happened. Yeah, you should always feint before you move in. Always. Always. Even if you think you got a guy hurt, give him one of those.
Just check. Just see what's up.
If he's like this, like, oh, okay. Okay. Give me something. Show me what you got going on. I mean, the best guys, they never just charge. Like Max Holloway, we finished off Aldo. It's just constant pressure. But when he feels Aldo firing back, he's like, oh, I'll step back for a second. Right back on you, baby.
Who's the best feinter?
Max Holloway's pretty goddamn good at it.
It seems like I just saw someone fight in the UFC or maybe Bellator that was like always just fainting, just
Wonder Boy might get my vote for the best feinter, because Wonder Boy also has it's like what style feinting is most effective. Wonder Boy has a extra advantage of having that right leg forward or left leg forward, whichever he chooses, sideways stance. With that long body of his, that's a weird thing. I've dealt with that, man. In the old martial arts days and Taekwondo days, it's the hardest thing to deal with. Those long guys that can have a powerful front leg. He just keeps you away. You don't know what the fuck he's doing. So he feints, and then bam, he comes in with the left hand, or he feints, and boom, there's a roundhouse kick in your face. I think he's the most, because he doesn't move like everybody else. Everybody else has like sort of a modified Taekwondo style, or Muay Thai style rather, except for the Taekwondo guys. There's a few guys like, even Connor. Connor has more of a karate style a lot of the times. He'll stand like when you see him fight Aldo, he stood totally sideways.
Yeah.
I mean, he was bouncing back and forth like a karate fighter.
Remember how Don the Dragon Wilson used to fight? He used to just get up on one leg and just keep his left leg up and kind of flip it and just be on one leg and just keep the left leg all the way up.
Dude, I sparred with that guy once.
It's annoying, right?
He's very good at that.
Yeah.
He's very good at that. He was real nice to me.
How come more people don't do that? Too much energy?
Well, he was...
No, you could tie kick him. You could tie kick him, right?
Dude, he's good at that, too. If you watch Don Wilson's fight with Dennis Alexio, Don Wilson fucked Dennis Alexio up back when Dennis Alexio didn't know about leg kicks. Dennis Alexio wound up becoming one of the very best guys at leg kicks. He was also one of the first guys I ever saw get his leg broken in a fight. He fought Stan the Man Longinidis, and he had a grass skirt
from
on.
Australia, right?
Yeah, Eddie Bravo's got the
I remember that
knowledge.
shit.
And Stan Longinidis, he used to work with my friend Shuki. Remember Shuki, the guy who used to, Israeli guy who was teaching me kickboxing back in the day. His leg was all fucked up because he would hold pads for Stan Longinidis. He had that big old tied leg pad, and like if you think some people, like if you see a guy who kicks real hard, right? The heavyweight world champion Muay Thai guys or Thai boxer, kickboxer guys, like a Stan Longinidis, the power they have in their kick is unfathomable. Remember, I brought this up with you, but you say it wasn't you. I was at Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu once, and we were watching Pedro Hizzo kick the bag. And I was like, what? Like, you just think of one of those slamming into your thigh, and you're like, there's no way. There's no way. Shuki's whole leg was fucked up from holding the pad on one side. He was going to need a hip replacement.
Damn.
Dude, imagine a guy kicks your leg while you're holding pads for him so hard you need a hip replacement. What?
Was not worth it.
Don the Dragon Wilson beat Dennis Alexio with leg kicks, is my point. But Don had that weird style. Like, no, he would stand totally sideways. And he didn't take any chances. He fought super intelligent. He fought deep into his 40s, too, man. He's an OG.
Yeah.
Don Wilson's a real OG.
I did commentary with him. He was my partner in King of the Cage for maybe 5 or 6 shows. Man, talk about the worst commentary ever. Me and Don the Dragon Wilson.
Was it really bad?
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine? Oh, no. Commentary is just not, that's not my gig, man. I could do color. wrestler, but being the play-by-play guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's just that's a whole different animal.
I did that once
with Phil Baroni.
Phil Baroni was fucking hilarious.
It was the Miami
great.
show.
Yep.
Was that the only UFC in Miami? I think that was the only one ever, right?
I don't know about that.
Is this Don the Dragon?
Don Wilson? Who's he fighting here? There he is. Look at him in these red pants,
Dennis
man.
Lexio.
Oh, it's him fighting Dennis Lexio, yeah. See how he would just flip that thing out? Everything was like light and flippy.
And they
they didn't know what to do with it.
They couldn't kick to the legs, right?
Oh, they could.
Oh, they could?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that side
Yeah,
kick.
no, they could. See? He just kicked him in the leg right there. Don Wilson fucked him up with leg kicks in this fight. See, Dennis Lexio was trying to kick him in the legs. This is after what had happened was a lot of these guys like Don Wilson that had a traditional karate background, learned how to kickbox, they realized how potent leg kicks were. A big factor was Rick the Jet Rufus, Duke Rufus's brother, who was one of the all-time best PKA style above the waist kickboxers. Rick Rufus, when I was a kid, man, I wanted to be like Rick Rufus. He would fight dudes sideways stance and just fuck them up with hook kicks and roundhouse kicks and dive in with punches like blitz karate style punches. I mean, Rick Rufus was doing shit that nobody was doing, and he fought this Thai dude. I do not remember the gentleman's name, but Duke Rufus brought it up on a podcast as being like a big transformation in his life because that Thai guy,
that fight.
He just chopped Rick down, chopped those legs down.
They were like mixed rules, a little bit of Muay Thai, a little bit of American kickboxing. They allowed the leg kicks, but they didn't allow elbows or something like that.
Exactly.
They mixed it up and
like K1.
Yes.
Here it is.
And
What is the guy's name? Yeah, the fight that pause that real quick. Chang's Puek Katt Songrit. Katt Songrit. Chang Puek Katt Songrit.
And he had an okay record. It was
Duke
like
was here. Oh, well,
yeah.
He had like more than 100 professional fights. I mean, he was a world champion. He
this
wasn't
guy?
an okay guy. Yeah, he was really good.
Okay.
He was a beast. Let's see what
he was fucking him up with his hands, though. Rick Rufus was fucking him up with his hands, had him hurt, had him almost knocked out a couple times, but he kept landing those leg kicks. And
He didn't
one of
know
those
about the leg kicks back then.
And he had to be carried off in a stretcher.
Yep.
He couldn't fight because he couldn't walk.
Yeah.
His legs were
gave out.
gone.
Well, he didn't know what it was there. So, I mean, this is like a long time ago. He didn't understand, but he tagged him with some punches, man.
Oh, yeah, he
couldn't
hang with his hands.
No, look at that. Spinning back fist and then the punch behind it. I mean,
he was fucking him up.
He really was.
But little by little, he was landing them leg kicks. Little bit.
Thai guy is, though, to take those shots.
One of the
and
greatest
back.
fights ever in kickboxing history. Just the fact that this is how Rick Rufus learned the power of leg kicks.
Look at that fucking. Go back there real quick. Go back there.
That guy's almost
Go
out.
back.
Look,
at the
he's
end of the
almost
round.
out.
Go back. Watch this. Look at this move that he does. He does that touch, jumping side kick, spinning wheel kick. Hit him in the head. Dude's out on his feet. At the end of the bell, they sit him down in the corner. Out on his feet. Just keep playing this.
This is one of the greatest matches ever.
Of all time.
It's so historically significant in martial arts.
Yes.
I mean, this is where they learned.
Yes.
This is where those American kickboxers. This was an eye opener. This is like UFC 1 for kickboxing.
Dude, I remember the first time someone ever kicked me in the leg. They didn't even do it hard. They did it to show me like how hard it is when you get kicked in the leg. It was like a light bulb went off. I went, oh no.
The first time I've ever heard of a leg kick, I was working at the strip club as a DJ, and one of the managers was all into karate. He always said, I've done tournament karate for 12 years.
Oh, shit. Look at this. Dude, he's lighting him up with these leg kicks.
And then,
look at that. Oh.
And he took me in the back one day, and he goes, dude, stand there. Let me kick you. And he kicked me with the shin. He goes, people are doing this now. How does that feel? She was experimenting on my leg. Goes, does this hurt? They're landing with their shin. And I'm like, damn it. Fuck. That
hurts.
People are kicking with their shins. That's weird.
Well, the crazy thing is when you feel it from someone who's just like tapping your leg, how much it hurts. Now think of this dude, whose name I can't pronounce again. Look at this. Boom.
Look at that.
Rick would try to throw his own kick, but his low kicks were like foot kicks. He was a foot kicker.
Yeah.
He wasn't like a shin kicker back then. Like most karate guys were instep kickers. You would hit a guy with a roundhouse kick, but you would hit him in the body with your instep. You'd hit him in the head with your instep. Almost everything I ever did up until I started doing Muay Thai was with my insteps. Or the heel. Like heel kicks, wheel kicks, stuff like that.
It was incredible that Americans didn't figure that out. Isn't that insane?
Nobody had kicked him in the leg yet. I mean, this is crazy shit. Did he hit him with a punch on the way down? Back that up again real quick. Back just a hair. Look at this. He goes down. Yeah, he elbowed him in the back of the head. Holy shit. Dude, show that again. Dude, watch this again. Watch what happens. He goes down, and on the way down, watch this. Boom, see that elbow?
Yeah.
Yo, dude, no doubt. Dirty elbow to the back of the dome. One more time, please. One more time, please. Look at this. Down, on his way down. Watch his left. Boom.
Yep.
He fucking cracked the back of his head with an elbow. Referee didn't even know what an elbow was. That's an invalid technique. Continue, gentlemen.
He totally missed the punch, landed with his elbow.
Yeah, he tried to land a punch, but I'm not going to take any points away because you didn't land. Dude, he's fucking that right leg up. Southpaw to southpaw.
Boom. Look at that. Made him switch stances. Look at that. He's chopping him down.
Dude, you can't even imagine how bad this must hurt for Rick Rufus. In the middle of this fight, he doesn't know how to block these things. He's taking one on the front leg, one on the back leg. He's just getting crushed. I mean, this is crazy. He's going across the front where the dick is.
Dude, he's flat-footed now. He can't take it. Boom.
See, he can't spin. He can't spin. Look at this. Accompanied by a stomp. He stomped him. Oh, that stomp to the body was legit. Oh, my God. Damn.
They need to make a movie out of this.
This is crazy.
Right?
They should make a movie. They should make a documentary
from
about
his
this.
point of view, from the a poor Thai fighter.
Right. And Rick Rufus is
and
trying
make
to
him
get
evil.
up.
Like make Rick Rufus the evil white guy.
He can't even
who wants to blow up the world.
He can't even move. This is like, these guys are so important. It's so important to our understanding because Rick Rufus was so good. He was so good, and he was doing movie shit on people. Those jump roundhouse kick, spinning hook kicks. Look at this. Round 2. I mean, he was doing some really wild shit and even landing it on this guy. Like, he was fucking good. He was a legit champion, no doubt about it. But he just did not understand the low kick game yet. And it was so important for a guy. Look at that. He lands that high kick. It was so important that a guy as good as him fought this guy. So we know for sure. It wasn't just that, the Rick Rufus wasn't any good. No, Rick Rufus was fucking real good. Yeah. Real good then, too. Like, look, he's getting crushed with those. And this Thai guy's, look at his open hands, too. Look how he's moving forward. Just open hands. He's all about protecting himself, pushing off, and low kicking. Look at his hands. See his hand placement? I mean, that's crazy shit. Look at that. Boom, pushing off. He's barely even trying to punch with them. He's basically just using his hands to create space and distance and give Rick Rufus something to think about and to block the punches and the kick that Rufus throws, and then boom, leg kicks. He just leg kicks him to death. Look at that. He's not punching. He's just leg kick, hands up, leg kick. That is crazy. As soon as he stopped exchanging punches, he just started dominating the space and then slamming those leg kicks in. Look at that. Boom. Fakes with the hand and across both thighs. That's one of the most painful ones, man. The ones across both thighs.
Dude.
Rob Kamen, back when I was getting coaching from him, he tapped me across the front of my thighs with his shin. Just tapped me. My legs hurt all day. This guy, wow, look at that throw. Holy shit. Those Thais can chuck each other around too, man.
I posted a little clip of
look at that.
Of a fight where they just wrapped up their hands. They didn't have gloves and headbutts were legal. It was kickboxing where you could throw people.
What's this?
And you could headbutt. Boom. Did you see that clip?
No, I didn't see it.
Dude, it's evil. A guy headbutts his opponent standing up. He just spears his head right into it and knocks the guy down just from a headbutt.
And Rufus, he only stands that one way most of the time too. So that front right leg is so vulnerable to that left outside kick because they're both southpaw. If Rick, see, now he's trying to switch up and he's putting his left leg forward because he's in so much pain. Like, look when he walks back to his corner. Dude, he could barely walk at the end of the third round. Barely walk.
Was this in Thailand or was it in the States?
I don't know where it was. It says Coors Beer on the canvas, so I want to think it's in America. And plus the way they're making him, where he's wearing those pants, I got to think it's America. Those pants look so stupid in comparison. And also, Rick Rufus was also wearing pads on his feet.
Oh, shit. How did he go down there?
Leg kick. Another leg kick.
Oh, can you rewind that, Jamie?
Look at the pads. Look at the pads on his feet.
Okay, here.
Look at this.
How does he go down?
Boom.
Oh, that was just a leg kick.
Yeah, just low kick. Caught him in the spin and just totally took his leg out. And he's wearing those booties on the tops of his feet to protect the bones of his feet because he's a foot kicker.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? That's extra weight. You wear an extra 4 ounces or whatever the fuck it is on your feet. It slows your kicks down. And the Thai guy just has taped up ankles and shorts on. It's really interesting because this really is like kickboxing versus Muay Thai. Boom, he chops the leg again. Boom, he chops the leg again. Look at this. Rick Rufus is in so much danger here. I mean, he's basically just totally helpless. And this Thai guy's going across the shins. He's going across the, if he's blocking with his knee, he doesn't give a fuck. He's just kicking through him, everything. Boom, look at that. Boom, look at that. He's just walking him down.
He's
Imagine
trying to
how
hide
terrifying.
that?
Dude,
Oh,
boom, and then another
shit.
one. You know how terrifying that must be to have that guy walk you down like that? Hands
That's
out
it.
like
They
this.
called it.
They called the fight. I think, is that JT Will, the referee? There's a famous referee who was in like all those karate. That's that's Duke right there. No, that's not JT Will. That's Duke right there telling everybody that he didn't think that it took a lot of skill to kick someone's legs.
The guy did not touch me anywhere else in the body, you know. I think, you know, that Rick should have won the fight. He had the guy out.
The big historical.
Listen to this, though.
But it's the way the cookie crumbles tonight.
Let's take a look at the monitor down here, Jeff, and see if you can
I mean,
show what's talk about
Duke
these leg kicks.
became like the man. Look at this. Bam.
Right there, you know, he's just buckling his knees. It's the same type of injury that ends a football player's career. You know, I don't think it takes much talent to kick somebody in the legs. As you saw those jumping
What's
spinning
crazy
kicks
now-
that Rick was throwing and all the defensive
'Cause he's all
ability,
about legs.
I think
Yeah.
that's real talent.
Well, what's crazy is, I mean, Duke, I think, was only 19 at the time, you know,
It's
and
like-
he's changed, he's learned, and one of the reasons why he's so good is because he's open-minded.
Yeah.
But he became a world champion Muay Thai fighter himself, which is crazy.
It's just like jiu-jitsu and leg locks. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
Like, that doesn't take any talent. You're just jumping on a guy's leg.
Dude, all martial arts techniques that are effective. There's still people that don't believe in certain techniques.
And the big, another big moment for Muay Thai in the history of that martial art was Paul Varelans versus Marco Huas.
Oh, yeah.
That's when we saw, it was UFC 7. That's when we saw the damn. Because before UFC 7, everybody was thinking, okay, you can't really do any kind of striking. You have to learn jiu-jitsu or you will lose. It's going to be people were just losing faith in striking altogether. Like, just work on. It was almost like jabs didn't even work back then. Like, who throws a jab in MMA? You're going to get taken down and get choked out. And UFC 7, that's when we learned, okay, leg kicks work. You got to learn
Paul
leg
Varelans
kicks.
was 300 pounds.
Yeah, that changed everything.
Yeah. Varelans was huge. The polar bear, they'd call him. That guy was gigantic. And Marco Huas just took his legs out. And then Marco Huas, he also beat Remco Pardue, that judo champion. You remember?
He mounted him, and then
And he
Remco tapped. He goes, "It's over. Once
Yeah.
you get them out, it's over."
Isn't that crazy?
That's what he thought.
That is what he thought. Isn't that crazy? Look at this. Marco Huas would get heel hooks on people and shit. Who's he fighting
This
here?
is Larry
Curitin?
Curitin. Yeah, he gets him in a heel hook right here. I think this was the
from the
first
bottom.
heel hook in the UFC.
Might have been, if it wasn't him, it was, that's amazing.
Oh, wait a minute.
It might have
Maybe
been,
Ken Shamrock against Patrick Smith.
Yes.
I don't know if that was a heel hook.
That was an ankle lock, wasn't
That was
it?
just
Straight ankle
was
lock?
that an ankle lock or
I don't know.
or a heel hook?
Yeah, Ken probably had the first ever leg lock. And then I was going to say Oleg Taktarov. Didn't Oleg get some heel hooks?
He got a knee bar and a straight ankle lock, I think.
Old school, son.
Oh, is that like some kind of MMA show reviewing old fights?
Man.
Oh, there's Marco Huas.
King of the
Oh, yeah,
streets,
yeah.
baby.
Can you
ever-
find Paul Varelans? It's VAR Varelans.
You ever talk to Eric Apple about his old days sparring with Marco? They would spar Brazilian style, which is get ready for concussions. It's just,
Yeah.
it didn't matter if you get your nose broken, get back in there. Like everybody was just going to war.
Yeah, that's what everyone was scared to death of back in the early days when I was a white belt. You hear about Half Gracie School up in. It's Paul Varelans versus Marco Huas versus
That's Paul Varelans fighting. It looks like in a pre-UFC fight, or maybe after his UFC career.
He was a
big
master
fella.
of. Was it trap fighting?
I don't know.
I think it was
Something like that.
It was trap fighting.
Yeah, I think
it
you're
was
right.
there it is, right there at the top. It's the UFC.
Yeah,
UFC fight.
He wore a singlet. Remember? He wore a wrestling singlet.
Yeah,
Like, look,
he's 6'7".
can you? This big fella. Can you wear those singlets anymore? You
No,
can't, right?
no.
Why not?
It's a good question. Girls can.
Well, it actually looks like he's got different color shorts on, or is that the monitor? So he's a tank top. He has a tank top on. He's fighting with a tank top on. It's not even a singlet. right?
It looks like a singlet.
A little bit, but doesn't it look like different colors? Well, maybe you're right. Maybe it's just we're seeing his legs in a yeah, it probably is.
Go to the last minute
there it
of
is.
the
Boom.
fight. The last minute of the fight, that's where he chops him down.
He just chopped him down there with the first one. Boom.
Yeah.
He's so much smaller than him. Look how small Marco is in comparison. Marco's a big guy. Boom. See, Paul Violence doesn't have any idea what to do here, so he just keeps kicking back. Oh, he just touched his leg. He just, shit.
There it is,
Marco's
right there. Boom.
chopping him.
Oh,
Boom.
chopped him down.
You're fucked now, son.
Yeah.
And Marco just got on top of him and dropped hammers on him. Boom, boom.
No gloves.
Yeah. Damn,
Yeah.
dude. Old school.
Yeah, after that, everyone started training leg kicks.
Firmly believe we need to go back to no gloves. Firmly believe. I can't emphasize it enough. I think people would get less hurt. I think it'd be more realistic.
You got to have Rogan fighting championships on an Indian reservation.
I don't think it makes sense. I mean, I'm beating a dead horse. I know I'm a broken record. I just don't think it makes sense to tape your wrists up. Your wrists are very vulnerable. You shouldn't be able to just make a cast out of them and slam them into things. I feel the same way about your ankles. Like, imagine if you could tape your wrists up to the point where nobody, or your ankle up to a point where nobody could ever get you in a foot lock because your ankle was protected. That would be ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Well, essentially, when you get someone in a wrist lock, what are you doing? You're pulling against the wrist. Well, isn't that a valid technique? Okay, a valid technique like a wrist lock like this, very hard to do when someone's wrist is taped the fuck up. When your wrist is
Where does
really
the tape go? Right
all
across?
over here, it goes all over your knuckles, it goes all around
your
here.
wrist.
It goes all around your wrist. It makes it much more stable. You can really dig into things. It feels way better. It feels way better to hit things. Because when you don't, especially like my hand is bigger than my wrist, so if I hit things on either side, it'll be like more wobbly.
Yeah.
You want that bitch taped up. You know?
Solid.
Yeah, and even if your hand is the exact same size as your wrist, man, it's just, this is a joint that is super articulating. Look at this wrist. I mean, look at all the stuff your wrist does. Your wrist is crazy. If you really think about joints, it's the only joint like it. Your knees don't do that shit. I guess your shoulders are kind of crazy. But your wrists, when you're punching, you would have to develop some serious strength in your forearms to be able to be a really effective bare knuckle fighter. I mean, truly bare knuckle. No wraps in your hands, no nothing. Just truly bare knuckle. You would also learn that you must punch things with the top knuckles. You have to. And even then you could break them. But if you start hitting people in the jaw, like right there, with this, crack, this fucking thing's just going to break. Hit somebody in the forehead right here, crack, it's going to break. You're going to break them. You get elbows, break them for sure. You're going to break them. But with those gloves on, you can get away with that shit. You can get away with that shit, and you could pity pat guys. You could do that more and just not even like try to find like specific spots. Just start hitting them. You can't do that. You have to make sure you're getting the soft tissue. You got to target soft tissue. You got to look for the jaw, bang. You got to look for the body, bang.
But it appears to the public to be more brutal, right? If you don't, right?
Listen, man, all you need to do is watch anybody kick somebody. Just think the fact that we let someone slam their fucking shin into some dude's face. That is, watch Jeremy Stevens. When Jeremy Stevens fought what's his name? Honey Jason. Remember Honey Jason?
Yeah, I remember
Jeremy
him.
Stevens, Honey Jason? It is like the head kick to end all head kicks.
Damn, I don't remember it.
Oh, pull that shit up.
You guys aren't allowed to pull up
UFC footage? I wish we could. Wish we should have a special exemption from the
What about
UFC.
Fight Pass? Like maybe like promote Fight Pass every time you use it. That would be a great way to promote it,
I wonder
right?
if they would let us,
They
though.
sent me a thing one time, like they reached out and said, like, here's an account, but then they never responded. And I was like, okay, let me have it, and then whatever.
It would be a great way to promote it,
I'll
right?
talk. Yeah,
You
I'll
play-
talk to the UFC. I'll try to see what we can get done.
If on your show you could talk about fights and have no issues with pulling up
Video.
Fight Pass,
Right,
and,
right,
and
right.
That would be huge for them.
That would, and it's free.
Yeah.
They don't pay me for this.
And that's how people would do it at home. They'd be
Yeah.
hanging out with their friends, going, "Fuck, remember that one fight? Put it on, find
Are
it."
you coming to New York this weekend anyway?
No,
Come to New York.
no, because I got to be there the next week. Anyways, I got to go to Brooklyn again the following weekend.
Brooklyn in the
For
house.
Gio's fighting Gordon Ryan's brother, Mickey
Oh
Ryan.
shit, that's going to be amazing.
It's gonna be awesome, man.
Those guys are awesome.
Yeah,
I love the level of jiu-jitsu that's available right now.
It's
just
insane right now.
such
It's
a
better
high
than
level.
ever. Way better than ever. I mean, the level of just the purple belts these days would destroy purple belts of like 8 years ago.
It's amazing.
It's
and
crazy.
And it keeps going up and up too.
Yeah.
And like I was watching some videos today online.
Instagram's huge. The
it's
loop, when you
amazing.
watch a technique and you could just
Yeah,
watch it over and
exactly.
over again.
Exactly.
that accelerates the learning process so much.
I was watching a clip today. I watched it like 15 times in a row. It was Cyborg doing that tornado guard pass on some big giant dude. Cyborg BJJ, I think is his thing. He hit this giant dude with that tornado sweep. You know how he does that? He gets under you and spins and rolls over.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting to
Very
watch.
few people can do that. That's
He's
like
so strong.
Yeah.
But that's what his post was about. His post is about technique and strength. Is that like your technique is like the steering wheel, but your strength is the engine.
Yes, I believe that.
I believe that too.
I mean, every top pro athlete has a serious strength and conditioning program.
Look at Gordon Ryan's body.
Yeah.
Look at that kid's body. That kid's a gorilla. You know, it's not a coincidence that he's jacked as fuck and has awesome technique and taps Cyborg.
Yeah.
And think about how good Cyborg is, and then think about him tapping Cyborg, and tapped him pretty handily. Look at that sweep, man. Boom.
That was Orlando Sanchez, too.
Yeah.
That guy weighs 300 pounds.
Exactly.
Damn.
That's why it's crazy. That's
That's way crazy.
Look how big this is. So look at this sweep. Look at this sweep. Leg up in the air and a hand, too.
Damn.
He gets his foot in between the legs, and then he pushes the hip with his hand.
That's one of the greatest sweeps of all time.
Of all time.
Holy shit. Look at that.
Look at this. So he
look how
gets
he's
under.
holding his right
he's
arm.
using his foot, and he tucks him under and pushes him.
I'd like to know
fucking amazing.
I'd like to know where the left hand is at.
Left hand's on the hip. Watch how he rolls. When he rolls him, watch. See his left hand. See his right hand's on top. The left hand. See it on the hip. See it pushing.
Where
pushing?
on the hip though?
Like it looks like it's
hard
right
to tell.
here.
It's
looks
hard
like
to
it's
tell.
right here. He probably just getting anything that he can that's flat.
If you look at the way
See the
look
left
at
hand?
his
Watch.
left hamstring has got to be so strong.
Oh, dude, he's a gorilla.
That left hamstring.
Insane, right? But it's not even just a hamstring because he looks to me like his foot's sideways.
And
like
he's-
watch when he does it again. Look, his foot is sideways like a side kick. Look.
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, it's like he's going against the inside of the leg. This is what's even crazier. The strain is like the abductor muscles.
Yeah.
He's going like this way. That's
And
nuts,
then look
man.
at his left leg blocking dude's left arm.
Yep.
Or his
Yep.
right leg. I'm sorry, the right leg. The right leg. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and that guy he just swept is an ADCC gold medalist, and he's 300 pounds, and he's a really good wrestler. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. That's right there,
phenomenal.
he should just leave that on a loop at his school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, Cyborg's a gorilla. He's got an amazing. You ever see his strength and conditioning routines?
No.
That motherfucker doesn't play, dude. He's a gorilla. He's a gorilla.
All the top guys.
Oh, yeah.
You got to.
Yeah.
I just saw Andrew Galvao doing deadlifts today.
Yes.
He's doing deadlifts
I
in his
saw that.
garage.
Hey, let me ask you this. Is it better to just let the deadlift? I was going to ask you, because of that, when he deadlifts,
He
drops
lets it go. Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
the best way to do it?
You tell me. I don't know shit.
I don't know shit either.
Yeah.
I would always think that the negatives are important.
I mean-
'Cause negatives for me are very important. Like for chin-ups, I go way slower going down.
It seems like every 6 months there's a whole new philosophy on strength, and it's totally the opposite of the last one. It's so crazy. Like now the big thing is, with intermittent fasting, it's like, okay, there's all these diets and eat this and gluten that and all this, and then now the new diet is don't eat for 18 hours.
I know, isn't that crazy? That is
It's crazy.
big dude. That shit works.
You know what's great about that is it makes you have a time every day where you're going to have the most fabulous meal ever. Because when I eat, I'm starving, and salads taste so good. Like, I want a big can. Have a
16
double
hours
salad.
off, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And when you're not that hungry, now I feel like if I'm not that hungry, I don't want to waste a meal because it's so much better when you're starving and you're out of control.
Yeah. I eat that way most of the time, except on days when I know I have a really brutal workout in the morning, like a weightlifting workout. I'll run fasted, I'll do yoga fasted, but if I'm gonna lift, I want to have something. I need some fruit or something.
It's almost 3 right now. I haven't eaten at all.
Damn.
Yeah, and I'm fine.
Damn.
Fine. It's a interesting diet. I hope it isn't bullshit.
No, it's definitely not bullshit.
I was never a morning person either. Like I never really looked forward to breakfast. It was always I'd have like a protein bar or something just because I had to.
Did you ever listen to my podcast I did with Dom DeAugustino? He's a scientist from, I think he's University of Florida, but a ketogenic specialist, does a lot of keto research and research on fasting and the benefits of fasting. And he goes into the scientific benefits, the proven benefits of fasting. Very, very interesting stuff.
What did he? What were the most?
I would really want to direct you to that. I don't want to fuck it up, but it's for prevention of cancer.
Really?
Yeah, ketone bodies in the blood increase, cognitive improvements. I just think we eat too much.
Yeah.
I just think we eat too much. We eat all the time. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Dude, I like watching TV and snacking.
Yeah.
You know, I like watch a little Netflix and have some snacks. We all do. But if I'm watching Netflix and it's 9 o'clock at night, I really shouldn't be eating anything.
Isn't it weird that like popcorn became the official food for watching movies? Isn't that weird?
I know, it's loud, chewy and shit. You can't hear dialogue.
Yeah, no one like says, "Hey, dude, let's go get some popcorn." No one ever looks for popcorn unless they're at the movies.
That's a good point.
Like,
it's the only time
it's not that good. It's
maybe at Disneyland, because it's like, yeah, I forgot about popcorn. Fuck it, and buy that while I'm here too. Other than that, like the circus,
just the movies,
circus, popcorn, circus got peanuts into the mix.
Maybe there's something about the popcorn that like it's like genetically modified, and it's like it helps with the brainwashing. Just the popcorn,
yeah, probably
opens you up.
It's microwave, dude. That's what it is. They microwave the kernels, and it fucks with your head, bro.
Dude, basically microwaves just kill everything, right? When you microwave your food, you basically just don't have anything. It's just like, nothing survives on microwave, right? Right. Isn't it crazy that we haven't really improved upon microwaves? Like they mastered that shit 40 years ago, and it's still the same goddamn microwave.
You know what's really bad for you, and they're going to take out of microwave popcorn? When you get microwave popcorn, there's fats in there that your body just doesn't know what the fuck to do with. That's why those things can sit on a shelf for so long, those little packets.
Yeah.
I think, what is it? What is the toxic ingredient in microwave popcorn that they're eliminating? It's hilarious. They decided, oh, this shit kills you, but we're going to let you sell it for 2 more years. They didn't just make it illegal. Yeah. They made a moratorium. I think it's trans fats. I think it just might be vegetable oil fats. There's certain trans fats that are just, your body's just like, what in the fuck is this non-food?
Yeah.
You're making me eat. Yeah. We were talking about delicious protein bars before the show that give you the most unbelievable farts.
Oh,
like, that's how I know I shouldn't be eating something.
Yeah.
If I'm eating something and I'm just lighting the inside of my car on fire, here it is. Chemicals used in the lining of microwavable popcorn bags, including perfluorooctanoic acid, or PFOA, are a part of a class of compounds that may be linked to infertility in humans, according to a recent study from UCLA. In animal testing, the chemicals cause liver cancer, testicular cancer, and pancreatic cancer. So that's one thing, but I know that they banned trans fats. I might have conflated the two stories. Because what is the ban of trans fats is the one where they're giving them like all the like Hostess cakes, those bullshit cakes
ding-dongs
that sit on the shelf forever.
Oh, ding-dongs are my favorite.
Dude, those things, those pie cakes that you get from Hostess, like the lemon filling, those are just trans fats to the gills,
and
son.
then the whole Twinkie myth that they last 20 years or whatever.
How long
do people
last?
Eat Twinkies still? Like who's eating Twinkies?
You and I were laying around, fucking bored, smoked a little weed, watching some TV, and I'm so hungry. What do you got here, man?
Twinkies
and I opened
are like
up your cabinet, and you had like ring dings and Twinkies. I might grab a Twinkie.
Yeah, if I'm starving.
Just laying around, watching TV,
survival food,
chilling. I might eat a Twinkie.
Twinkies are like the worst wedding cake. It's just.
Well, you know what I had last night? I had strawberry shortcake. U.S. popcorn makers could face long, expensive road to lose trans fats. Oh, okay. This is why I conflated it. Microwave popcorn makers could face a long and difficult task ridding their snacks of trans fats. U.S. Food and Drug Administration proposal to ban the additive goes into effect. So the U.S. is banning. So the U.S. ban on trans fats is what what I got confused with.
Isn't it crazy?
That U.S. ban on trans fats is like they're giving these people like 2 years.
Isn't it crazy that they're making a big deal out of this? They're going after the trans fats, but they don't go after like real shit. Like alcohol is like killing people all day, every day.
I know, right? It's like you say, why don't you say, hey, this is going to kill you if you keep eating it?
Yeah,
but it's awesome.
But you're going after trans fats.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like someone in the popcorn industry just pissed off an Illuminati member. Go, you don't want to go after them. And this is just like a smear campaign.
Well,
like,
trans fats, like, people need to know they're bad for you. Once they know they're bad for you,
but
should
what
you be able
about
to just take them?
What about that one drug that everyone's getting addicted to that's legal?
Adderall?
It's like heroin. It's
morphine. Fentanyl?
No. Very
Methadone.
popular prescription.
Oxycontin?
Oxycontin.
Oh.
Yeah, Oxycontin for sure fucks your life up.
100%. But if you have serious pain, it also alleviates pain. And the thing is, can you just ride it for a few days?
And they're going after trans fats here?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Let them have their popcorn. Fuck it. They're making like news articles about it. We're going after trans fat. What about the 800 kids that go missing every year? Why don't you go
Well,
look
there's
for
different people.
Go look for them.
Okay, that's true, but these are different people. These are food scientists.
Yeah.
But I think the point is that that there's other ways to make food. But the thing is, I don't know, what is the benefits of trans fats? Does it make processing easier? Like, why do they use that as opposed to like other healthy fats? I don't know why.
It probably has something to do with shelf life, maybe.
Yes, probably. That's probably why it fucks you up too. You got to think about what a preservative is. You know, like someone was explaining. Did you see What's Wrong with Wheat or What's with Wheat? Did you see that documentary?
Maybe.
They were talking about Roundup and glyphosate. And they were talking about how
yeah.
Roundup, this stuff that they spray on some plants, that they said, well, don't worry, this only affects bacteria.
Yeah.
And
in
so,
the 50s, they said that.
Well, this is when they were creating it. And this is one of the reasons why they allowed it to be used. But what they were explaining in this documentary, is just, I don't know if this is true or not, but what they were explaining was, yeah, you have bacteria in your body, dummy. Like, you're taking this stuff into your body. They didn't say it that way. You have bacteria in your body. You're taking the stuff into your body that only kills bacteria. It's going to kill a part of your body. Like, your body is partly bacteria. In fact, there's more bacteria cells in your body than there are human cells. Like, that's just a fact of being a person. So this is a crazy thing that they don't know that. And they either know it and they did it anyway, or they didn't know that, in which the case, what you were saying earlier, they should have no business telling people what's the good science and the bad science. If they allowed that to go through.
Yeah, it's another example of bad science.
Yeah, it's definitely an example of maybe they didn't know when they first came up with the stuff, but as technology has advanced, they haven't eliminated it.
Either way, whether they didn't know or they did know and it was a diabolical plan, whatever it is, it's that science is bogus.
Yeah, but should you be allowed? Like, we know Diet Coke's terrible for you. Should you be allowed to sell Diet Coke? If you want, but do most people know how bad Diet Coke is for you? Or Diet Soda, I should say. Do most people know? Most people don't.
Most people don't.
They don't know.
Most people are.
I'll have a Diet Coke every now and again, once a month or so.
Yeah.
I'll have a Diet Coke.
I've done pretty good at keeping sodas out my life. Now that I discovered the Pellegrino.
Yeah. Pellegrino's great.
Yeah,
just water with little sparkles in it.
I love it.
It's delicious.
I used to struggle with being at a restaurant and struggling with, should I just drink water or can I get I'm gonna have a Coke, and then I have 2 Cokes and then I feel guilty all night. That struggle went on my whole life.
Dude, I've been drinking way too much water
But
lately.
the Pellegrino, that Perrier, that satisfies me enough.
Yeah, Zevia is a good one too.
Yeah,
and there's a couple other like flavored waters that are like more mild.
Is carbonated water?
LaCroix.
Is Pellegrino and carbonated water? Is that bad for you? Is it gonna come out that we get cancer from that? Are the bubbles fucking me up?
Yeah,
they are.
But I learned the soda's not good for your teeth. That's all.
What do they do?
The bubbles are?
It's just as bad as soda water is. I mean, it's just not good for your teeth.
It is soda water. I mean, isn't Pellegrino soda water? Yeah. It's the same thing. And
carbonated water is bad for your teeth?
In mass amounts. I mean, like 1 or 2, probably not a bad thing.
So if you just drink
but what
it all
about
day?
once it gets in your stomach? Do the bubbles like fuck you up?
It's gas.
Illuminati, bro. They're all ideas. Those ideas in those bubbles, they're all getting you to buy into bonds.
Yeah.
And
Who
give
knows?
your money
Who
up
knows?
to the government.
Maybe they find out that the bubbles
your guns.
in your system do something bad for you.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I wouldn't be
Could be.
surprised. I hope not. Shit.
Right.
I hope it's completely benign because
I think we have heard about it.
I drink the shit out of it.
I do too. Here, as long as it's plain carbonated water with no added citric acid or sugar, the answer is no. The process of carbonation is a simple addition of pressurized carbon dioxide gas into plain water. Acids, sugars, and salt are not being added. it's the addition of those ingredients that ups your risk for tooth decay. So it's no harm at all. So it's just carbonated water is just carbon dioxide gas.
Or maybe that's an Illuminati.
Dude, stop freaking me out, man. Did you know that funguses, fucking like mushrooms, they breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide like we do?
Does that make it good?
It's like an animal more than it is like a plant. They're closer to animals than they are to plants.
Fungus.
Yeah, fungus are like an animal almost. Not really because it doesn't move. I mean, but it's closer to the animal
Ringworm
kingdom.
moves.
Yeah,
It gets bigger
that
and bigger
nasty
and bigger.
shit. Yeah.
Fuck that fungus.
That's the worst, man. That's the worst. But like mushrooms are, they're some sort of other thing. They're not a plant. Fungus is a different kind of thing. Dun dun dun. It's from another fucking planet, man. That's what I think.
You think our mushrooms aren't legal, right? They're not. There's not recreational mushrooms,
It's
right?
on the ballot for
That's coming?
2018, California.
Any states already legalized mushrooms?
No, but they should. They should do it the same way they do what they're going to eventually do with MDMA. Look, mushrooms are great. You remember the
MDMA
first time
is
you and
in
I
the
did
process,
mushrooms?
right?
Do you remember the first time you and I did mushrooms?
You were living at your old house.
We were chilling in the backyard, dude. And
We
were
didn't do
just
that much,
talking
though,
about
but-
life.
yeah,
but
we
it wasn't that much. It was
Yeah.
a small dose.
Yeah.
But it was enough to go, whoa. Like, it just gave me a better perspective. It just
Yeah.
opened up my mind to that. I was relying on all the patterns that had been explained to me about life to be correct, instead of like looking at it with fresh eyes. I felt like at 30 years old, it was the first time I was able to look at my life with fresh eyes, look at life itself and go, oh, this is just this weird temporary experience.
You could see it in your comedy too. Your comedy just, from the early Joe Rogan, like your first CD, someday I'm going to be dead, right?
I'm going to be dead someday.
I'm going to be dead someday. From that comedy to once you started getting into psychedelics, big O difference.
Yeah, it changes who you are. Because, well, it also makes you super humble. Because even if I don't appear humble, when you get hit by the big dose, whatever it is, DMT or whatever you do, when you get hit by that dose, you realize you're just a part. You're not the big thing. It is a part of something that is indescribably big.
Yeah.
And the idea that you're important or that you're the most significant thing around you is pretty ridiculous. Like, you got to do your best to keep your body alive and do your best to do your part in whatever the fuck you do for a living. Do your best at that, but you're just a part of something that's infinite.
Did your experience with mushrooms and DMT, did that make you think, like, there's got to be a creator to all this?
Not that there's a creator like a guy in a lab that's like making a person inside of a fucking test tube or some shit. Not a creator in the sense of an individual, but I think that the idea of an individual became more ridiculous than anything. It's like, I understand that like what we are is almost like something filtered through these predetermined, like almost like we're a membrane, like something from another dimension expresses itself through this physical membrane, and then we're almost like the barrier to what comes out on the other side. That this was the thought that I had when I was on mushrooms, that what we are as a person is almost like the carrier, like a vehicle for whatever a soul is, and that this thing uses this life to pass that thing through onto another experience that happens in the next dimension that'll be so fucking alien that you can't even imagine it today in this dimension. And this dimension would be alien to that dimension, that there was just this never-ending, infinite process of soul traveling. I had this very bizarre like thought about, like, if you, like, people will often say, like, if you had to live your life over again, you were born again tomorrow, you got to do it all over again, could you do it? You'd be like, what? Oh my God, I got to start over from scratch? I got to be a baby again and rely on those same fucking people again? Oh my God, I got to go back to first grade? That was terrible. And that's when my parents broke up. And people start freaking out and thinking, but you already did it. You already did it. What if you have to do it forever? Could you do it forever? Forever and ever and ever, over and over and over and over and over again. Could you do that?
Like reincarnation?
You might be doing that. That might be, that is just as possible. What hit me is it's just as possible that you've lived this life an infinite number of times, and you will continue to live this life an infinite number of times.
And when you do, maybe, so you're saying there's a possibility that we have some kind of soul type thing, right?
I think there's a possibility that you're on a loop.
Yeah.
Just like those YouTube videos or those Instagram videos of Cyborg hitting that sweep, that we're on a life loop.
If there is a loop, and let's say either it's involuntary or voluntary. Either when you die, you wake up and you're like, whoa, that was an awesome ride. Let's do it again. Or it just happens automatically.
I don't think you get the choice.
Either way, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Some spiritual gurus say that yes, some souls choose to keep coming back. Some stay in the infinite heavens forever or whatever, and then come back some every now and then. Who knows what's real? But you're talking about there's some kind of soul thing, and there's either you're saying that there's probably involuntary reincarnation of some sort,
Yeah.
right?
I think it's possible.
Maybe either if you decide to come back, for sure, if that's the case, you would say, okay, I'm going back into that earth realm, and you for sure don't want to know where you came from. It would seem, I'm guessing, that the beauty of life is after you die and you realize what the hell, oh, that's right. You don't want to know. It's like watching a movie. Like the other day I watched a movie and I'm watching the trailer, and 30 seconds into the trailer is Unsane, the movie. 30 seconds, I stopped it. Because I didn't want to watch the rest of the trailer, because now, okay, I got enough. I want to see this thing. I didn't want to see more of the trailer because I wanted to go to the movie and be fooled. I didn't want to know what was going on. I wanted to be confused.
Right.
I didn't want to be able to figure something out from a trailer. So, and most people are like that. I'm not special. Like if you went to a movie and you already saw it and your buddy didn't, and you told him how it ended, he would sock you right in the chest. What the fuck you doing? You just ruined the movie for me, you faggot. You know what I mean?
Strong words.
But I mean that. I don't mean that in a homosexual way. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be funny, and I apologize to all gay people out there. I apologize. I love gay people. I love gay people. That was just me trying to express an emotion. But and no one's also at the same time going to go to a movie with you if you already saw it and say, dude, before it starts, tell me the whole movie.
Well, I think a better analogy is that you never get a chance to see the future. You're not going to get a chance to see the future once you're reborn again. This life, when you come back, do you want to have a memory of your past?
You don't.
You don't get a chance. I think it's a part of the system.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I think it's either whether it's voluntary or involuntary, it's best to not know where you came from at first.
Right.
It's best to figure it out. That's probably what this is all about, is figuring it out. Because when we go to the movie, part of it is it's all about the journey. It's not about the destination. People always use that as on Instagram. It's not about the journey. It's not about the destination. It's the journey. That's one of the most popular sayings ever, and it's beautiful. You have to say it every now and then to remind people.
Another thing to remind you: don't even think about it as a journey. Just be in the moment. Accept the moment and be in the moment. Live in the moment. Think about the future, plan for the future, but exist in the moment.
Yeah.
Don't think of it as a journey or as destination. But the people that are the most fucked are the people that are trying to make it. Yeah. One day I'm gonna make it, and then when you make, there's no making it. It never happens. It doesn't change shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're.
It's a big illusion. I fell for it hook, line, and sinker. Oh my God, the wanting to be a rock star my whole life, they got me good. I wanted that mansion. Oh, I was gonna have that mansion and just filled, with chicks.
Like a Nickelback song.
Oh, that's what I was after my whole life. They got me good. When I saw Kiss and I saw that shit, I'm like, I want that. I knew right when I saw Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, 1978 on NBC, one of the worst movies of all time.
I remember that movie.
Oh, it just blew me the fuck away.
There was a power outage when I went to see that movie.
Oh my God.
I was watching it at home, and the power went out, and I was devastated.
And the weird thing about that era was 1978, and if you followed Kiss, if you were older, I was 8, and if you followed Kiss, from 73 on, they already had their early cool years, and then after Kiss Alive, they had a few more awesome albums, and then they got to the point where they started doing disco, and that was 1978. That's when I got into them, when they started doing disco. So I didn't even know what selling out was. I just heard I Was Made for Loving You, and I loved it. You know what I mean? I had no idea, but man, I don't even know what my fucking point was. What were we talking about?
I don't remember either. The point was you're never going to get to know what the future holds. You're just going to be living your life, and that's how it is with everybody. I don't remember what the fuck your point was.
The rock star thing. The whole
you
rock
wanted
star.
to be a rock star.
They get you. There's so many different ways they can
Well, you
TV
get yourself.
and
You get yourself too. I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta think about what you're exposed to.
But look
it's
at like music videos, what they sell in music videos.
Sure.
They sell that. It's like they're offering it.
Right.
Look, I got it. And a lot of those rappers that are flashing all the cash, it's not even their money. It's not even their mansion. But it's pushing that. You want to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to make it. I was so zeroed in on that. You know me up until a few years ago. I was just zeroed in on it. Then I began to realize, wow, they got me real goddamn good. You know, I was obsessed with an illusion. Fame is an illusion.
Well, you're obsessed with the destination instead of the journey, right?
Well, I enjoyed the journey, but it was like.
But you know what I'm saying? You're obsessed with it.
It was all about conquering the music business. That's all it was about, and it's not about that anymore. Obviously, thank God. Thank God I sucked musically, because if I would have had a record deal in my 20s, shit, I would have did some crazy Illuminati shit back then. I would have did whatever,
shit?
like whatever. Just I would have been to those parties with the crazy mask and been doing.
You
I would have
think
did
that's
whatever.
real?
I'm like, let's
you think
do
they
it.
have parties with the crazy masks?
Eyes Wide Shut.
They just let
you
you
don't think
in?
Eyes Wide Shut
All you
is
have to
real?
do is have a hit album. They're like, hey, Eddie Bravo.
Hey, I
Eddie
don't know.
Bravo from
All
Santa
I'm
Ana,
saying-
come up, California,
Hey,
come on down.
Thank God my music sucked, because I would have went along with all that shit in my 20s. I was
You
so
wouldn't have.
obsessed. I was so obsessed with
you
making it in the music business. I would have did anything.
No, but you wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have gone party with Jimmy Savile or whatever the fuck
Dude,
his
I
name
would have
is.
been hanging out with whoever was famous, you know?
That's hilarious.
Shit.
Well, you know, it's like retirement is a lesser example of that. People are always looking to those golden years. One day I'm going to retire and we're going to be walking with our hands at the sunset. Like, no, you're thinking about death then. That's what happens. Those people don't do shit anymore. They don't have nothing to do. You know, the only time you should think about retirement is if you have a job that you can retire and they pay you still. And then you can go do whatever the fuck you want. That's when you should be thinking about retirement. But thinking about it is this time where finally we get to relax.
It's an illusion.
We put our feet up and then they turn you into Soylent Green.
Yeah,
turn you into fucking.
That's what you were really
green cakes
aiming for.
Yeah,
and you know, and everyone is working to get that vacation at some faraway beach where they can have a beer, and the destination is that they go far away, at least 5 to 8 hours. You can't just use the beaches you have here.
No.
These beaches don't count.
They're
they
bullshit.
count for people in on the East Coast.
Right.
They count because they come here, but you live here, so it doesn't count. You got to get on a flight and go to a goddamn beach that looks just like Malibu.
Just like
but you got to travel.
Got to go across the country.
You got to go. You got to go to Fiji.
Go over the ocean or go to Mexico.
It's an
You go to
illusion.
Mexico, too.
Everyone's chasing that beach. And then what are you going to do on that beach? The first thing you're going to do is check to see if there's internet. That's the first fucking thing you're going to do. Right? It's an illusion. So and then every time you go to the airport, you see that picture of like some dude just laying there on some deserted beach. Like that's even possible. I thought that was possible. I thought
Where's
even
the beach
into my
that's
third
deserted?
Like a deserted, like you have your own deserted beach. You know,
That's a
you
poor
don't see that.
judge
Well, you don't see that off camera. Out of the frame of the picture is a bunch of people trying to sell you an inner tube and some just, you know, people trying to rip you off and sell you shit. They don't show that part. They just show your feet. They show your feet in a beer.
If you have a perfect beach like that, you're going to sell it to a bunch of people. It's not just going to be this one dude, unless you're one of those Richard Branson guys. That's when you go full baller. You got your own beach. What?
Yes. You have to. Those only exist for Jay-Z. You know what I mean? You got to buy an island.
Well, those Richard Branson type dudes, or Tyler Perry, he's got an island.
Man, it just seems like these vacations are all like ripoffs. I remember me and my wife went to Cabo San Lucas, and we looked at the package and like, oh shit, let's get this resort. There's 5 different restaurants. Amazing, all inclusive. This is amazing. You get there, and it's the same kitchen, 5 different restaurants, but only one is open at a time. They just take different shifts, and it's the same waiters, the same food.
Oh,
and
you
they
went
come
to a
out.
bunk ass place.
Yeah,
I gotta send you to good places. There's some good places you can go. There's a good place in Cabo. It's called the One and Only Parmilla.
I'll never go back there ever again.
Cabo's amazing. I love it.
Oh man,
when
you land there,
watching
everyone's
people
trying to
so
rip you
drunk,
off.
they're
Everybody's
throwing
just,
up.
Yeah,
that happens. What about Hawaii? Do you like Hawaii?
If someone gave me a non-stop first class ticket to Hawaii and a 5-star hotel for 2 weeks, I wouldn't go.
Why not?
I've traveled so much; it's an illusion to me.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
All
you,
my
you
shit is at
travel
home.
so much, right?
I want to sit in my house and look out the window and go,
Chill.
"Fuck yeah!" You know, that's what I want. I want to chill. I want to be with my family. I want to be with my son. That's an illusion. I'm going to travel with my family for them. But I've traveled so much. To me, it's an illusion. I've never been to a place where I was pissed that I was leaving. I was always ready to go. Like, dude, I'm ready. You want to change our flights and leave early. Shit, when we went to Cabo, we changed our flights and left early. It sucked.
Wow.
Like, what are you gonna sit on a beach? We got that right here. We go to Santa Monica. You got a free vacation. We get me and my family get hotels because my son loves hotels. We'll just get a hotel in Burbank, like a VIP hotel in Burbank where you got like this gigantic room, and we stay there for a day.
You got to just do. We'll talk after the podcast.
Yeah,
You just do vacations the right way. There's ways that you could go zip lining in Costa Rica.
Dude, I got tricked into going to Costa Rica. I told you that story. I'll never go to Costa Rica ever again. Okay, unless it's for a seminar. I'll go for a seminar, like a jiu-jitsu seminar. But I ain't trying to go to the jungle or anything like that. Fuck that shit.
We got to wrap this up because I'm gonna piss my pants. I've been drinking too much water.
Can I throw a plug?
Yes, fuck yeah.
Me and Sam Tripoli are doing tinfoil hat comedy in San Francisco at Cobb's June 1st and June 2nd at the Punchline in Sacramento.
Thanks for the shirt.
Oh shit! Combat Jiu-Jitsu,
Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds, Eddie Bravo's birth child, along with EBI, the EBI Invitational, best fucking jiu-jitsu tournament in the world. But this is the shit. Combat Jiu-Jitsu, we talked about it a million times. This is going to change Jiu-Jitsu, make it much more applicable to MMA. Positions on the ground where dudes are allowed to bitch slap you. It's strong.
Yeah, it's crazy. People love it.
It's great.
It's the fastest rising video ever on my YouTube channel. It got to 300,000 views in a month.
Next level.
None of my other videos get that kind of views. It was crazy.
It's next level, and it shows what these positions where the vulnerabilities are. So it's like a real good first step into MMA. I like it a lot.
Boogie is fighting Wagner Rocha for the Combat Jiu-Jitsu World Championship at EBI. The next EBI, which is in San Diego, June 24th. It's a 16 woman tournament plus the Combat Jiu-Jitsu World Championship of Boogie against Wagner Rocha, and we got amazing women. We got all ADCC, IBJJF champions. Bia Basilio, she's the best chick out there. Bia Mesquita, and she's right there at the top.
So one more time, the date and what's the website?
You can watch it on UFC Fight Pass. It's going to be or pay-per-view inchbyinch.tv. June 24th, Sunday, June 24th in San Diego. Tickets go on sale in a couple weeks. And it's gonna be amazing.
All right, that's it. Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.
See ya. Cool. Thank you. Damn, that 3 hours flew by so goddamn quick.